It's me, Tom from Target Prime Rib. I do apologize. Lucky for me, Lewis actually called me up to tell me that you guys have started. That it ends up the YouTube had it down um, for 1 p.m. and not 2 p.m. I actually told we actually set it for 2 p.m. with Carrie, so I do apologize on that. I'm gonna find out why YouTube had it down for. I can find that out afterwards. So Carrie will be here, but he actually is under the impression that it's at 2. So for the first half an hour, it's going to be just us. All right. So let me see who's all in the chats. We got Amy. Hello, Amy. And Jemmet. Hey, Jemmet. How you doing? Papa Carnivore is here. Obviously, Lewis is here. Lash is here. Wow. Bacon Baby. Got a lot of people here. All right. Marilda. Hello, Marilda. Lisa, Carnivore Whisper. I like the name, Lisa. And Lewis says that he would call me, which he did. Thank you for that. Rick is here. All right. Juliet, Carnivore Dens. All right. Got a lot of good people here. Sandy, I knew you'd be here. Thank you, Sandy. D. Lee. Hello, D. Lee. It's good seeing you. I'm trying to see if there's any questions in the chat. No, I didn't start a different stream there, Peter. This time it was just a confusion of the time. Just to be on the safe side, I did send Carrie another. I did send Carrie another copy of the link, just to make sure. If I have your email, I'm able to do that. It's a little harder when I don't have an email. Um, Obviously. That I don't know, Peter. If we got our, we'll find that out until later on. But I hope that this didn't really affect anybody in too bad a way. Don, hello. Thank you, Sandy. I appreciate that. I actually trimmed my beard and everything, getting ready for today. Who said I look fabulous? Ah, Lisa. I should have known. Um, I feel okay. You know, I mean, we all know what was going on for the past few days. Don't really have to get into it, but you know, we're all good. Yes, I figure he gave me this hat, and that's the least I can do. I also have the Healing Humanity shirt too. Thank you, Marilda. I appreciate that. You know, I have 3 different hats that I can choose from. I can do this hat. I can do this hat, my classic hat, or I could do the kilt hat. So I have all 3 hats. You know, but I figured today this was the hat that I would want to do. I wouldn't mind getting an SPG hat, so then that way I have something that if I ever anybody from SPG come on here, I can support them. I'm actually, I don't know if you guys saw in a chat I did earlier, but I'm actually just bought a hoodie not a T-shirt, of Aaron's booby goat, booby goaters um, sweatshirt. Aaron booby goats. Thank you, D. Lee. I appreciate that. So this is pretty great. Uh, I can't believe the time thing was so off. I'm actually trying to look at hmm, for some reason my phone's not letting me bring up the thank you, Lisa. I don't know about that, but okay. All right, so I'm going to look from the computer side of it. Go into my and thank you to any new subscribers I have. I am now at 406 subscribers. Sorry about that. Like I said, I wanted to bring up um, the thing. I just have doing the fat with Kerry Mann. Okay, it's kind of weird that they put me down for 1 o'clock though. And again, I do apologize, everybody, on that happening. So I'm going to look at my emails because I did send Carrie an email saying that I'm starting at 2. That I told him the confusion that was put out um, for the live and everything. So thank you, Rick. I appreciate that. Okay, so you're off of work today, Granny Boo. How you doing? How you doing, Wendy? It's always good to see. I've got 28 people seeing this right now. Um, the only thing I don't know how to do yet, I've been trying to learn how to do it, is off this stream is how to allow other people to share the stream with like both channels together, like this, while we're streaming. And I'm sure if Carrie shared it onto his channel, he would it would give me like a lot more viewers, obviously, because of his channel. So, but it's okay. He can always replay it if he wants to. Um, there it is, Lewis. I just haven't shared them. I'm sorry. It's easier just to say as to answer it. Um, and it goes so fast that by the time I scroll up and down to find it, it's hello, Beefy. How we doing? So you have interesting taste there, Rick. Whatever floats your boat, besides ducks. You hear clicking on my end? Um, no, my clicker's not broken. It just you hear it if I don't have it on mute. Unfortunately, it's a little hard for me to talk to you guys if I'm on mute. So, what I'll try to do is I'll try to mute it when I'm looking through. That is, yeah, you're talking about this, right, Lois? Okay. Um, yeah, I have to admit that no one will chase out, or maybe they will. People have different tastes. Yes, if I had an external mic, that would be true. Hey, Bob, how you doing? It's not a problem. It'd only be like if I had to scroll, which probably be all the time. And I mean, once good thing is once he comes on, I'll have him tell his story, but I will mute myself so then you don't hear when I'm scrolling to find those questions and posting them. So I'm guessing most likely we're going to answer the questions after he tells his story. Um, that way I don't have to keep on interrupting him, you know, and and I'll try to keep them to a minimum, obviously. Let's see how many. So we got 10 likes according to this. And Ellen, hello, Ellen. How are we doing today? I'm gonna refresh my Gmail page. I mean, he might just come on. Um, Officer Magoo, how you doing? I saw you the other day on one of the other. I think it was Mitch. So welcome. I am not type 1 diabetic. I'm type 2 diabetic. Stay beefy. So I did have a higher blood sugar today, but now it's lower. Let me get my actually I have my glucometer in my pocket. If I can find it. I have like so many keys and stuff like that in my pocket that I. Sorry about that. When Lewis um when Lewis called me, I didn't even have time to take the stuff out of my pocket. So right now I'm at 85, and I was at 63 um, before, so it's gone up a little bit. But I've had a pretty good meal. I had I guess technically I had two meals, but I had them like within an hour of each other, so it depends how you look at it. I had the rest of my lamb. I had four burger patties with some butter, and then I had some roast beef. So, so I am definitely psyched for today, and I'm guessing you guys are pretty excited too. Which thank you for that. I appreciate that. You need to get a leaf rake. Okay. Well, it's one thing I never had. I don't have to have because the apartment complex does any of the raking and shoveling and stuff like that. I do have a shovel for when I had a car. Oh, that sounds good, Lash. Hmm. That sounds really good. Pork crackling. That sounds delicious. Good thing I'm not fasting anymore. I'd definitely be breaking it. Hey, Bacon Baby, how you doing? I don't know if I said hi to you before. I do apologize if I didn't. I have lots of yard tools. Okay, that's cool. Hey, Kelly, how you doing? Got a lot of great people here today. I wonder, what you guys are here for. Has anyone had gout on carnivore? Okay, so this is a good question. Merle asking, has anyone had gout on carnivore? What did you do for it? Uh, I don't think I've ever had gout. Um, yeah, but if anybody else in the chats has ever had it, you know, and until another question pops up, Marilda, I will keep that question up, and maybe Carrie can answer that question. Okay, it makes sense. Just what did you do? Just cement over it, or okay, Bob. So did you do anything particular? Was it or just carnivore in itself that help you regulate the gout or get rid of it? Okay, so Carrie is asking if he should be on sooner. Um, let me let me just write down. Hey Ashley, how you doing? All right, so I'm going to tell him that he can come on now if he'd like. All right, and I'm going to let me do that. I'm actually going to put in only if anybody wants to my buy me a coffee link, and then what I'm going to do is once I have that in there, where did I put it? Sorry about that, guys, with the loud clicking. Let's see if Carrie's in the. All right. For some reason, it's taken YouTube a little bit longer to get the kind of weird. Just waiting for it to go to my section here. I'll wait just a little bit longer. I'm seeing if I can pin it to the top, and the only way that you can really do that is to okay. Let's see if I can do it from here. Yeah, still not letting me. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened with YouTube. Okay, I'm going to clear up some. So Keto Cookout is out, Rick. It's Keto Cook Unt. You know I'm kidding, right? Okay, so I'm going to mute myself. All right, so I just pinned up the buy me a coffee at the top. No, no one's obligated. I just have it up there because I'm not putting up the come join us because for obvious reasons. So I mean, you can hear me now, right, Lisa? Yeah, she has a special. I forget the name of it, but she's in a whole different program, which I think works with her phone. Like I think she doesn't do it from the. She might do it from the laptop, but I thought she said that she does it from. No, it wasn't you. I had myself on mute because I knew I was going to be clicking a lot at that moment, so I just put myself on mute in order to not be so clickbait. Get it, clickbait. Um, so so if I'm not mistaken, I think I might have said hello, but I think Ashley is in the chat. So hello, Ashley. It's great to see you, and we're probably going to see a lot of people that we don't normally see. Ashley has been on my channel, uh, you know, on here at least once. Let me just go right and just see. I'm going to refresh the YouTube page. I have it on both just in case. Not that I can do anything from YouTube. But Ashley, I'm just glad you're here. I'm glad all of you are here, actually. That's cool. Got 18 likes. So thank you for that. And I saw the note that Lewis had to, you know, like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I think most of you are my rivulets already, and I'm very grateful for all of you. And Carrie should be on definitely in 5 minutes. I have it down here, you know. Oaktown, Oaktown girl, hello. Sneak listening from work. Hey, a little naughty there, huh? That's fine. Just I don't want to get in trouble, but that's cool. Thank you. And thank you, Janet. I love you guys too. We are family. Right? I hope you're talking about Milton there, Janet. Yeah, you have a good cat there. Maybe another time, Lisa. I still got totally learn that song for you from with Kermit. Thank you, Jim, and I appreciate that. I think there's a lot of people in chats here that are pretty carnivore inspirations. So you got Ashley here, you got Rick, Lewis, you. I think every one of us is an inspiration, you know, in one way or another. Now, just let you know, I probably will just bring Carrie right on. So, yes, Lisa, we are all stars. Rick inspires no one. Rick, you inspire your cat, and Milton inspires all of us. So, that sounds good. I'm sure Russ will sing. If he has at least one request, he's going to sing. Carnivore Freaks. Lash. Yes, you should, Lash. I agree with him. And Rick, you are a caveman. You're a carnivore caveman. A confident carnivore caveman. And everybody, just so to remind you, Lash will be on will be telling his story on my show, thankfully, next week. So hopefully you guys will come in and check that out. Hey, if that's your dream, Rick, just live next door to Fred and Wilma. Well, it's 2 o'clock, so Carrie should be on here any second now. So, and you are Rockstar Lash. I think everybody's right on here. Thank you, Janet. I appreciate that. No one's ever told me I had a soft voice, a soothing voice. So, if I had Glenn Miller, I'd be more than happy to play it. Hello, Papa. And we are about the beginning. I'm going to add him. Hey, Carrie.
Thomas, how's it going, buddy?
It's going pretty well. Now that you're here, it's going even better. So,
It's
so
good to
yeah,
see
there
you.
was a little confusion. For some reason, I got a call from Lewis that YouTube had it down that I was doing at 1 o'clock my time,
Oh,
and
okay.
I don't remember doing that. So I was actually a little late. They were actually in the chats without me, talking amongst each other. And so I just figured I'd start it, but I didn't want to like, because I knew we had the agreement of 2 o'clock my time. So I was like, okay. So I just sent you the quick email saying, hey, this is what happened, and let you make the decision. But
Yeah, no, all
yeah,
good. It was like 10 minutes to, and Lash had texted me, and I was like, oh no, did I screw I've screwed the times up in the past, so I was worried I messed the time up, but
oh,
I'm
okay.
glad it.
No, I mean, I thought it was 2 o'clock my time too. So, and I'm the one who created it, so I had to double check and see exactly what I put down in the post and stuff like that. But
Right?
it's all good. I mean, we're here now, and sometimes a little chaos can be a good thing. So,
Absolutely.
um,
I'm
yeah,
happy to be here. I appreciate the invite. Thank you for having me.
oh, no problem. I mean, it's one of the best things I've ever did for myself. Um, so, obviously, I usually what I do is I usually set the guests. I give them 2 hours to be able to tell their story, and that's what I give them. What they take is up to them, obviously, because not everybody has time to do 2 hours. I mean, like when I had Helen on, she was about 2 hours and 20 minutes. So some people need it,
Right.
and some people don't. Um,
Do you
so
still have that Helen energy, that leftover Helen energy?
it's probably dwindling a little bit, but I have to get myself that bottled spray
Yeah.
of Helen. Put it like in a glass bottle, like a little perfume bottle, and just like sell it out.
Be like the greatest selling item of all time.
It she could sell it for $50 a pop,
Ex-
at least.
No problem,
Like
right? Yeah.
or be like it would be like a drug dealer, like give it to people for free, and then after that, she could sell it for like even like $100 a bottle.
Right.
Like because they're
Get
gonna
them
be so desperate to have it.
get them hooked. Yeah. Thomas,
Yeah,
she spoke at one of our meetups, and she was kind of nervous to speak, and it was like a master class. It was beautiful. She was on fire. She was like yelling. I remember she said, "Every one of you has won the lottery. You've won the health lottery." She said, "You could have millions of dollars, but if you don't have your health, you have nothing." And it was just powerful, powerful stuff with her energy combined. It was pretty awesome.
yeah. Well, we were actually talking about that when she was on. Like I said to her, I said, if I'm ever asked to go up front, I don't know if I could do it because I'm just how I am. And she's like, "Oh, you could do it. You could do it. You could do it." And I'm like, "Well, I don't know. If they ever ask me, that's fine. Maybe I'll do it. It depends on how I feel at that moment. But
Right.
you know,
Well,
so
hey,
you
if
know
we,
how it is. Like you don't know until you know.
right.
It's like you say about the fog. You don't know you're in the fog until you're out of the fog. So,
Yeah. Well, if we
so
have another event, you have an open invite if you want to get up and share, but no pressure. I know sometimes it's nerve wracking getting up in front of the audience, but the carnivore audience is so good. They're gonna clap, they're gonna cheer, they're gonna be happy. You've got a great, incredible story, Thomas. So
thank
you'd
you.
get
I
up there,
appreciate
you'd get up there, you'd be a little nervous, and then you'd get done, and you'd be like, "Wow, that was pretty fun, actually, sharing the
Yeah,
story and
yeah.
inspire people."
I could probably do it. I probably do it on the next one. I'm hoping to go to the Syracuse one.
Yeah,
So, because it's New York, it's pretty close. I was even thinking about going a couple extra days and like staying over there and like taking an Amtrak to get there. So like, making kind of like a real event out of it.
yeah, a
You
little
know,
adventure.
because originally it was when it was in September, it was right by my birthday. So I was like, oh, this would be a perfect birthday gift for me.
When's
But then
your
they changed
birthday?
it.
When's your birthday?
September 20th.
What was that?
September 20th.
Okay, my
Yeah.
whole family's September birthdays.
Oh, really?
First,
Yeah.
third, 10th, 18th, all over. Yeah.
Okay. So the one on the 18th is probably closest to me.
Yeah, that's my dad.
Oh, okay. Cool. That's a pretty good thing to follow. Yeah. So, um, all right. So obviously you're here to tell your story. Tell a little bit about yourself. So I'm going to let you do that because no one's here to listen to my story today. That's fine, and that'd be kind of weird. Yeah. So I'm just looking at the chats too. I like try keeping up with the chats, and what I'll probably do, if it's okay with you, is if any questions do come up, I'll just put my finger up like this,
Sure.
and then that will pretty much be the cue that there's a question for you, and we could just answer them throughout. If
Cool.
that's
Yeah.
all right. So I'm gonna actually mute myself so that no one hears my clicking, and then I'll unmute whenever we need to. All right.
Just go right into the
So
story.
yeah, might as well. I mean, All right.
Sure. Yeah, let's do it. All right. So my carnivore story. And Thomas, feel free to do this too if I start rambling because I tend to ramble sometimes with the carnivore energy. But yeah, my carnivore story is I my wife and Jen and I met at age 14. I won't spend too much time on that, but we've been together for 30 years since we were teenagers. And I think it was around age 15 is when I had my first big health issue. Um, it's kind of TMI. It's kind of gross, but whatever. It's the truth, so I'll share it. I was going to the bathroom, and the whole toilet was just filled up with blood. And my mom rushed me to the emergency room, and they're like, "What's wrong?" And they diagnosed me with Crohn's disease. And later, I found out that I think it was a misdiagnosis. But I have had stomach issues ever since then. And then in the coming years, I had multiple colonoscopies and all sorts of tests to try to figure out what was wrong with my stomach. Uh, at age 15, I grew up kind of poor, really poor. Um, you guys have probably heard of Jeffrey Dahmer. For a little part of my life, I lived like right down the road from where his house was. And my parents divorced when I was younger, when I was like 10 or 11. And so we moved around. I went to many different schools. But when I turned 14, I got my first job at McDonald's. And then I worked at an Italian restaurant. And then I started having a little bit of money. And what I did with that money was buy food. Because, like I said, we kind of grew up poorer. And it was junk food. It was McDonald's and it was fast food and it was cheap food. And from age like 14 to 16, I just ballooned up. Like my weight just kept increasing and I kept getting sicker. And the stomach issues I mentioned earlier kept getting worse and worse. And that pretty much went through most of high school. And I just kept getting bigger most of my life. Yo yo dieting. I'd get big and then I would try to do something about it. And I would try to restrict myself. I would try to count calories. I tried Weight Watchers. I tried fasting, like tried everything. And I had some success. I would lose a little bit of weight and then I would go back to eating in moderation, which would end up never working. And then I would yo-yo and blow up again. So that happened over and over again. And Jen and I, like I said, we were together for 30 years since age 14. We ended up after high school getting an apartment together. I had a job for about 8 years where I worked in a warehouse. And yeah, the health just kept getting worse and worse. We had our daughter Lily, and then we had the triplets. And when I really needed to be a good dad, a strong dad, I needed to be there for my family. I needed to be energetic. I was just, unfortunately, the opposite. I was fat. I was depressed. I was on the couch all the time. And it was in those years my depression just got worse and worse. Eventually, Jen took me in to get help for my depression, and they put me on medication. And the medication didn't work, but the doctor said just take it for a couple more months and see. They said try for 3 months, and then after 3 months, that didn't work. So they upped the dosage and changed the dosage, and I did that for years, like 10 years on antidepressant medications. My stomach, my IBS issues got worse. I started snoring. I had some kidney stones. My stomach was hurting so bad that I remember I went to the doctor and they tested my gallbladder, and the doctor was like, your gallbladder's borderline. You could probably keep it or we could take it out. And I was like, take it out. I am in so much pain. Like maybe that will help. And so they took my gallbladder out. Not too long after that, I had a kidney stone, which was one of the most painful things in my life. And then I'm bad with dates, but maybe another year after that, my appendix burst. I thought it was a kidney stone. It was incredibly painful. I ended up at the hospital and it burst right as they were getting me ready for surgery to remove my appendix, and it burst on the operating room table. And it turned into a big ordeal. They had to spend hours like cleaning it all out. Could have killed me if I wasn't at the hospital when that happened. But yeah, my health issues just kept mounting. My medications kept mounting. I was on 10 or 15 different medications near the end there, and just kept getting sicker and sicker. And let me see, what am I missing here? I'm used to telling this story really quickly. um, I found keto. This is what I wanted to say. Probably 10 years ago, Jen and I were watching Netflix, and there was a documentary, and it was called Fathead. And it was by a guy, his name is Tom Naughton. And this guy was a stand-up comedian. And he'd never done a documentary before. In fact, I'm pretty sure he filmed this documentary, which ended up on Netflix, on like an old school camcorder. And the quality, he would probably say the quality was kind of junky. It was kind of crappy. But he had some good animations. And more importantly, the story, the message was so powerful that um, it was incredible. And I'm like, it was the first time I heard of keto. And because of that documentary, solely because of that documentary and Tom Naughton, I decided to try keto. And that was the only thing up till that point that I ever really touched my depression. I noticed like I don't feel quite as anxious. It didn't get rid of my depression, but it touched it in the way medication never had before. And I lost a good deal of weight doing a ketogenic diet. And then I went back to eating in moderation and the keto snacks and the keto treats. And I just completely fell off the wagon. And I was like, I'm healthy now. Now I can go back. I'm just going to take it easy. I'm just going to eat fruits and vegetables and everything. But as soon as I would eat fruit or vegetables, my body was jonesing for more sugar, more carbohydrates, more glucose. And I ended up blowing back up again. I remember one time, Jen and I had both done keto, and we were exercising and we were trying so hard to lose the weight. And there's a photograph of us both, and we were both not as healthy as we are now, but healthier than I had ever been most of my life before the age of 16. And I remember after that picture, I said, I'm never going to gain this weight back again. And it was like 4 months after that, I had gained all of the weight back and like 30 more pounds on top of it. And that's like how strong this addiction is. And it wasn't until I found carnivore that whole time, the foolish thing I was doing was trying to moderate my addiction. And you wouldn't do that with any other addiction. Keto was great and it led me to carnivore, but on keto, I was also trying, I can have 20 carbs or less. That's like an alcoholic saying, I can have one beer at night. As long as I keep it to one, that's okay. But as a hardcore alcoholic, you can't keep it to one. One beer turns into two, turns into a big bender, turns into this will be the last time, I promise. And you end up eating more and more. And that's what I did on keto over and over again for years. So the the big change for me came watching YouTube, and it was Dante Ferrigno, who I get emotional when I talk about it. I embarrass Dante quite often, but I owe that man my life. Like, it literally saved my life hearing Dante's story. Dante had the same issues as I had, many of the same issues that I had. And the words that he was using in his voice on his YouTube channel were my words. He didn't steal them from me. He'd never heard from me, but he was speaking my words in my language. I could see the suffering that man had gone through. I was like, this guy's been through the exact same thing that I have been through. Jen and I were watching his YouTube channel, and he said, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to only eat meat. And I'm like, this guy's insane. Like, you can't just eat meat. You're going to have a heart attack. You're going to get bored. It's too expensive. Like, all these things. I'm like, this is crazy. And then I noticed the video that we were watching of Dante was 2 years old. And I said to Jen, kind of cynically, I'm like, there's no way this dude's still eating meat 2 years later. Let's go watch his most recent video. And we popped up his most recent video, and you couldn't even recognize Dante. He looked like a completely different human being. He looked like he was 20 years younger. He lost a bunch of weight, but aside from the weight loss, you could just see the joy on his face. He was literally glowing. I say it's like when a woman delivers a baby and they have that glow, that pregnancy glow. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's hormones or what, but something's healthy going on there when you see someone's face literally glowing. And I saw that in Dante. And then I heard him speak. And I'm like, this guy is just full of joy and happiness. Like, he's completely polar opposite. He's so pumped up. And that's what convinced me to do carnivore. That's what convinced me to at least entertain it. I didn't start carnivore until I then watched about 1,000 Dr. Berry videos after that, because I still kept in my head, like, this is just crazy. My big thing, Thomas, was I had congestive heart failure. I suffered, I kind of skipped over this earlier. I suffered a TIA mini stroke, um, and I had congestive heart failure, and I had an irregular heartbeat since birth. I would stand up before carnivore. I'd get dizzy. I could barely stand up. I was once cutting down trees in the woods here with a chainsaw, and I fainted with the live chainsaw in my hand. Every time we'd go to church, I'd stand up. You'd have to stand up, sit down, sing. Every time I'd stand up, I'd get dizzy. I'd have to grab the pew. Jen would have to grab my arm so I wouldn't fall over.
My
So
God.
when I heard about carnivore from Dante, I'm like, this makes sense, but how can I do this with congestive heart failure? I'm going to clog my arteries. I'm going to have a heart attack. And then I found Dr. Berry, and I found Dr. Philip Ovadia talking about eating only meat. And ultimately, what convinced me was a Dr. Berry video after watching 1,000 of them. What convinced me was, I'm like, Dr. Berry's a scam artist. What is the scam? And after watching so many videos, I could not find a scam. I'm like, he just told me this over and over again. He's like, it's free. Just eat the meat.
Right.
And he even said, I'm not even selling you the meat. Go buy the meat somewhere else. You don't have to buy me anything. I was waiting for a catch at the end of it. But the crazy thing is, the thing that convinced me is one of the very few ailments or issues that I didn't suffer from, and that's type 2 diabetes. Somehow I ended up on a Dr. Berry video that was titled How to Reverse Type 2 Diabetes. And I don't know, I was just watching everything I could, but it caught my eye, and I watched the video, and it caught my attention because I have family members, extended family members, that have suffered with type 2 diabetes for as long as I can remember. And in my brain, I'm like, you can't reverse type 2 diabetes. Then why do these people I know, family members, have had it for 20 years now? I really, I'm not, I had no idea that it could even be reversed. I thought it was a chronic thing and you could get insulin to help manage it, but you got that forever. So when he said you could reverse it, I'm like, this is crazy. And I still wasn't convinced, but then I read the comments. And long story short, that's what convinced me to start Carnivore. There was a comment on Dr. Barry's video. It's 5 words. Dr. Barry saved my life. And I'm like, what? This is crazy. Like some dude that has never, like, he's not a patient of Dr. Barry. Dr. Barry never examined them and gave them medication or treated them, but his words over a YouTube video saved this dude's life. And of course, I was still cynical, and then I read more comments. There's 2,000 comments on that video. And there's literally dozens of comments like, you saved my life, he saved my life, he reversed my A1C. I am no longer diabetic because of Dr. Barry. And that blew my mind. And I'm like, I can do anything for 30 days. I'm going to try this thing for 30 days. And that's what ultimately convinced me to do Carnivore. So
That's wow. That's pretty amazing there, Carrie. So glad that you were able to tell it, here on my channel. So I'm very grateful for that. We got a few people that joined the chats. Lexi just came on,
Lexi,
so and Meathead, and I don't know if you know this or not, but Ashley's been here for quite a while, and so
I,
has Lash.
I saw that earlier. Ashley Lash, how's it going? Jemette's here too. Sandy, awesome.
Sandy, and this, and here's Peter, Papa Carnivore.
Papa Carnivore, my brother from another mother.
Yes, I think he's everybody's brother from another
Right.
mother.
Well,
I think there's a reason why they call him Papa Carnivore, because he's like Papa to everybody.
right. He's such an amazing member of the community, always leaving such good comments for people. But I had him on my channel, and the crazy thing with Papa Carnivore is I say brother from another mother. I say that with Mitch too. There's so many similarities. Like, oh yeah, I had that too. I had that too. I had that too. Like exactly, precisely the same thing. It's kind of crazy when you start hearing these stories.
Speaking of Mitch, he was on here too. He might still be here. He's just not hasn't said anything in a while. And Alyssa, Miss E, is actually on here. She has said
Nice.
hello. So, and Kelly, Broken Carnivore, he was on your last your open mic. I call it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a shout out. I know I've done it before, but Mitch's story. I don't. Part of the reason I'm like really passionate about all this stuff, Thomas, is family members I've lost in the past,
Mm-hmm.
and one of them that I lost in the past, probably one of my most beloved family members. Who doesn't love their grandfather, right? Like, my grandfather had a major stroke, similar to what Mitch went through. And I think I was like 14 at the time, and it was devastating. Like it was so scary at that age. Like looked up to my grandpa my whole life, and now here he was with this stroke, and he was paralyzed, half of his body, just, and he could only say 3 words after he had his stroke, and it was just so devastating. I remember my uncle talking about it, like, man, this poor guy worked his entire life just to retire, just to have a little peace, have some joy in his life after working 2 jobs most of his life, and then right after retirement, massive stroke and this. And my grandfather never recovered at all. Like he was paralyzed side of his body and could say 3 words for the remainder of his life, which was much shorter after that. And so Mitch has a special place in my heart, because when I watch Mitch and the stroke that he went through and the recovery that he's been having, it's like it
It's
makes me kind
amazing.
of mad, Thomas, because I'm like, that should be front page news. Like people should be studying this. I would want
Yeah.
my grandfather to know that this was an option, like for healing and for coming out of something like that. And it's not just old guy carnivore Mitch either. Like I've heard many other people. Dave Mack suffered a stroke. I've interviewed other people that have. I had a TIA mini stroke before this. I've interviewed other people with strokes too, but Mitch's recovery is incredible. Just watching him over the last, what, 4 or 5 months since he had that stroke, and it's like you can't even tell anymore. It's just crazy.
Mhm. So, yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think the same thing when it comes to my mom. I mean, she didn't have a stroke, but she had the metastatic breast cancer, and I can't help because she was improving with keto, and I've told this story before. She was actually improving, and she gave up because she wasn't losing any weight. That's why I always say your why should not really be just weight loss. Like
Yeah.
that can be part of it, but it should not be just that because she gave up. She was like, but she was walking up and down stairs. She was doing all these great things, and but that wasn't enough, and so I feel the same way. Like if with all these things, if we just knew it, if it was just front page news, like you said, if it was
Yeah.
just put into the, like for God's sakes, treat it like if you have to treat it like being a vegan or being a vegetarian, you respect that, you honor that. So why can't we honor? Hey, some people just tend to eat meat. They just decided to do it this way, and this is their lifestyle, and just respect that and accommodate that.
Right.
You know,
Um,
um,
I'm with you. And I like what you said too. I think one of the things is so many people's default perception of carnivore is like it's just some fad to lose some pounds. When in
mhm,
reality, it's like you said, like, no, this is healing. The pounds are just an after effect of your body healing. But
yeah,
so many people, like I've got family members that really need something like this, and that's always their first thing is, I don't really need to lose that much weight. And I'm just like, this has anything to do with weight loss. That's the last thing that's good. You're going to heal everything else and feel like an amazing human being for the first time in your life. But hopefully, we can change that perception. I think we are. Like you doing your YouTube channel and getting stories out there, you're healing and other people's healing and sharing those stories. Hopefully, more people will start to
yeah,
realize this isn't a thing to lose
it's
some
true.
weight.
I mean, I'm still pretty new at the YouTube stuff, and I get a little discouraged here and there. I'm sure you have before too. And you're still like kind of like feeling. I'm still feeling my way around.
Yeah,
But then I see like when I get like one or two more subscribers and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, I must be doing something,
yeah.
um, something right. So
Thomas,
so
I want to just say real quick, you're doing amazing. Seriously, and there are people out there that will not resonate with anyone else, but they're gonna watch your story and they're gonna be like, that guy Thomas, like that's just like me. Dante for me was I don't. There's not many other people out there that I would have watched that would have inspired me. Like, but I saw Dante, like I saw myself in him, and there's other people that are going to see themselves in you and your story that they're going through diabetes, that maybe have had a toe amputated or lost a toe, that's going to inspire them. I just wanted to encourage you real quick too, because I think you're doing awesome. And I've gotten the negative comments and stuff like that. I know you had an issue recently.
right,
I hate that. I hate that you have to deal with that. I it's easier. It's so easy for me to tell you, like, just ignore it. Don't let it bother you. But I know it's hard to do that. But the best thing that I have heard, and I believe this is so true, is somebody that's leaving a nasty, hurtful comment to you, that person is hurting. That person is nasty and hurtful. Maybe they had something horrible happen to them. We don't know. So I always I get the initial reaction of like, why would they say that? And like on my channel, they do it to me, and then I get mad and I get upset, and then I try to think through that process
yeah,
of, you know what, maybe this person just had something horrible happen to them, and they don't know any better. Maybe they have a
yeah.
mental health issue. Maybe they're not all there 100%. And
Whatever it is, but everything is good now. So I didn't really mention everything is a
good.
okay now. But I remember that one time I actually laughed at it. I know, like one time I emailed you about this one guy that was actually giving a message to your channel, and I sort of laugh at it now because it's sort of like it's so ridiculous. It's funny. It's like one of those things.
Yeah.
I remember somebody sent on the message that you should file a disclaimer every single time I come onto your show.
Oh, see.
I'm just like what?
It's always, you know, the other thing, Thomas, that's funny with the comments is people always have all of these suggestions and all of these ideas. And my thing
Yeah,
is like, why don't you just go do it then? You go do what Thomas is doing. You go start your own. If you don't like
yeah,
what Thomas is doing, you go do your own YouTube channel. Shut up
yeah,
about what Thomas is doing and you go do your own YouTube channel. And then we
right,
can come and leave you comments. But the people that always have so much advice and so much critique, and it's like, what have you done that qualifies you to even give this advice or critique? This is your
Well,
channel. You can do or say whatever you want on it.
I can say this with absolute certainty. When I started watching like years ago. I think I've told you these stories before, but I started watching Bella. I mean, when I start doing for the carnivore, I start watching Bella and I start watching Dr. Barry. And I even when I was doing keto, I watched some other people too, like Bob Briggs, you know, pants fall down
Yeah.
guy, and and then also Keto Connect. I don't know if you remember them or not. It's like a couple
Oh
that
yeah, I used to watch them all the time.
yeah,
I wonder if they're
and
still around. They
that was
must
like
be.
when I watched them, they didn't have a child. Like they had a child later on. They didn't even have a child. It was just them and their cat or something like that.
Yeah.
And but when Dr. Barry and Bella, my mom used to love Bella because at that time she played the piano every single time she had every single time she would enter video. My mom used to love to listen to her piano playing. I told Bella that the other day, and she's like, "Well, maybe I should start that back up again." I go, "Well, it's up to you, you know." But then she also every single time my mom would hear Dr. Barry, she'd like be in bed, she would not want to get up, she'd be in like lots of pain. She would actually be like, "Get me up, Dr. Barry is on." And that would actually get her up, you know. So they were sort of like inspiration for me to be on the keto. However, I don't know if I've ever told you this or not, but when it came to actually joining the clubs, you're actually the first person I contacted. You're the first person I actually emailed to tell my story to. And you responded. And that was sort of the seed that brought everything on.
Hmm.
So you're kind of the inspiration for all this.
Oh.
You know, you're the inspiration for the actual community. You're I guess technically you've always been the first riblet, you know, and so I thank you for that, you know.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron's the one who came up with the name, but you're in that. So I thought you would like to hear that, you know.
Yeah, that's so nice. Thank you.
You know, and it's kind of funny how like one time I was talking with Dante, we all were. It was one of the Zoom calls, and he was saying about how he was inspired by Jordan Peterson,
Yeah.
you know, and how Jordan Peterson said he was inspired by his daughter, you know, Michaela,
Yep.
you know, and it's sort of a trickle down syndrome, you know, and I always like, you know, if A equals B and B equals C, then obviously A is going to equal C, you know,
Right.
and it's kind of funny how we all kind of inspire each other
Yeah.
because in one way or another, because if you were inspired by Dante and he was inspired by Jordan and Jordan was inspired by Michaela, then AKA that means that technically you were inspired by Michaela.
Yes.
That makes sense.
It's so funny, Thomas. I have gone through this very exercise you're talking about, like trying to let's trace this all the way back. And you're
Mm-hmm.
absolutely right. For me, it was Dante. Dante was Jordan Peterson, Michaela Peterson. But then even Michaela, in some ways, was inspired by Dr. Sean Baker
Yeah.
because early on, Michaela was like, she was just eliminating stuff because she was so sick and suffering so bad. But she never really imagined I could just eat meat. And Dr. Baker called her and he's like, you know, you can just eat meat. You'll be all right. Like she almost needed the permission. And I've heard her talk about that before, that really helped her. So then it goes back to Dr. Baker. And then I'm like, well, but wait, where did Dr. Baker? Like he's kind of the original. He wrote the book, but there were people doing zero carb before. I think that's what inspired Dr. Baker. There was a zero carb group before anyone was even calling it carnivore. So yeah, it's kind of interesting when you look at that ripple effect, and man, just
Yes. It
Michaela
just keeps
telling her
on going on.
story,
You
and
know?
it's nuts. So for Dante too, when we had him at the meetup, I showed this visual on the screen. We've interviewed over 60 people for the documentary, and I showed a visual. I don't know if there was quite 60 on there, but it was like 60. Imagine 60 little faces, and they were all blacked out except one in the corner, and that was Dante's. And I said, now imagine right now that this man, and then we showed Dante's picture, didn't share his story. We wouldn't have captured all 60 of these other stories. And then we showed all 60 of them. I'm like, Dante, like, look at what you did, man. This ripple effect's crazy. And then you think about all of those people are then inspiring a whole other group. There's a whole downstream ripple from all of those, each of those individuals inspiring more people.
Yeah,
It's
it's like the trickle down. It's the trickle down syndrome.
yeah.
It's
But the thing that's so cool about it is you don't see that with anything else. Like, really think about it. Do you see anyone doing Weight Watchers and there's like this huge ripple effect because you had so much success on Weight Watchers, you told your friend about it, and then five of their friends did it, and
yeah,
five of their friends did it? It doesn't happen with anything else. It's only happening with this
yeah,
because it's actually working. Like, people are actually healing. It's just kind of naturally spreading that
yeah.
way. It's pretty
And it's
incredible.
just funny how like they all do like all these Weight Watchers and stuff like that. Always try to do like something to promote themselves even more.
Yeah.
And really, if you think about it, yeah, there's some changes here and there, some little tweaks, I should say, but for the most part, it's just eat meat. You know,
Yep.
And like Weight Watchers was doing that. I remember, I don't know if you remember this or not, but Weight Watchers was doing that point system
Yeah.
where like for every, and I didn't actually join Weight Watchers, but I had a friend that did, like a coworker, and so I was able to copy her point system down, and so I was able to follow it. I just never joined, I just never paid for membership or anything like that, which I'm glad, 'cause to me it was a total waste of time,
Right.
you know. And I remember Richard Simmons with the deal a meal.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Well, the whole Weight Watchers counting points thing, too. I think I did that one for a while as well, and it was just horrible for me because I would be like, okay, so now if I want to eat some pizza and ice cream tonight, I basically just have to starve myself for this amount of time, and then I'll have this many points later. And it was just like, again, it was trying to negotiate an addiction. It was trying to moderate an addiction.
Yeah, it's. I
That's the
mean,
thing when you talk about Weight Watchers and calorie counting and all this stuff that people always ignore. That is just so foolish. Oh, just count your calories, restrict your calories.
yeah.
If you're
I mean,
moderating
I,
an
I never
addiction, you're
count my calories, never count my macros. I just eat the meat. That's
yep,
basically,
yeah.
Sometimes I might go lion, sometimes I might, but for the most part, I just eat the meat.
Those things all fail because people are just perpetuating that addiction, and a lot of them don't know that they're addicted. Like, oh, I did my points. Now I can have ice cream and pizza, and then they're starving for more ice cream and pizza, just like an alcoholic would want more drinks after having a little sip.
Yeah. So now Lewis is saying that Weight Watchers is potatoes are 0 points on Weight Watchers. That's
Potatoes. Oh my goodness.
think
How
about
how
that.
is what world are we living in? It's just crazy. The
It's
highest carb plant we can eat, tuber.
yeah, yeah, it's amazing. I'm not really seeing too many questions on here, so anybody has questions, you got Kerry Mann on stage here, so take advantage of that. Okay, I know I can't answer all the questions, but I'm sure he has a lot more knowledge than I do. Okay.
I saw one earlier that was asking. I think it was Ellen asking about the documentary and filming.
Oh yeah, I thought I still had that up. I apologize. Yeah, she was asking about making the documentary,
Yeah,
basically.
I think she said something about the what experience. So when I decided to do the documentary, I was day 67 carnivore, and I don't have any. I don't didn't have any experience filming documentaries. I did have a lot of experience because I've done YouTube for 10 years, but filming a documentary is completely different, 100% different. I also have experience filming like small commercials for businesses, um, so some like professional video work that way. But other than that, I didn't have anything. And my intention initially with the documentary was I don't care if I got to film it on my phone. I just want to capture some of these incredible stories of healing and share them. But luckily, we were able to put together a team, mostly volunteers. Adam was the first one who has a lot of background with just putting together beautiful video and cinematography, and his background's in photography. But he's really took things to the next level. He emailed me early on, and he's like, "I'll help for free. Whatever I got to do, if I have to sweep the floors, I'll help." And then we like so many things just fell into place. But the other big part of the puzzle is having a really good editor. And we have an editor. His name is John, and he's full on carnivore. And he actually came out and helped film a little bit of Bill Knott's story 1 year later, and he's incredible. And so a lot of this, it's just it's grown and expanded in ways I never would have imagined. Partnering with other carnivores that are have experience in this area. And one of the things I'm most excited about, like a lot of people saw the trailer that we did before. Um, I'm really proud of that trailer. Dr. Jordan Peterson tweeted that trailer out to like 6 million followers. He said this is a necessary film. He was excited about it. We later after that we filmed his wife for the documentary, Tammy Peterson. But we have a new trailer that John is finishing. He already sent us version. It was version one of it, and we just had a couple adjustments he's working on right now. So very soon we're going to be sharing the new trailer, and I can't wait for everybody to see it because it really shows the quality of the project, but also the scale. um, we filmed people all over the world. We filmed all over Australia, all over Canada, all over the United States, over 60 interviews. And I guess the last thing I'll say on the filming part of it too is a lot of people are excited and anxious. Like, why aren't you done with the documentary yet? The premise of the documentary from day one was following people over the course of a year. Bill was the first person we filmed, but then we had to wait a whole year to film him again. And we filmed several people over the course of the year. But the other part of it too that people need to understand is we didn't have like a huge budget like we can go film this. We did a 24-hour live stream to raise funds. That gave us funds to go film Bill, and then we went and filmed Maggie, and then we were out of funds. And then we did another live stream. So it was over the course of the 2 years that we did these 60 interviews, it was a lot of stop and go, stop and go. If we just had all the money, we could have done like a lot sooner, but we had to stop. We did a 10-hour live stream. We did a 24-hour live stream. We did lots of meetups and events, but we had to continuously raise more money to keep the project going. So in I've only been carnivore like a little over 2 years. So in under 2 years, we filmed 60 interviews all over the world, completely crowdfunded. And like I said, a couple of those people we had to film over the course of a year. So the new trailer will be dropping really soon. I'm excited for everybody to see it. So, oh, we got Lexi.
Yeah, Lexi's asking, are you going to have a mental health episode in your series, Carrie? Would love to see that, especially bipolar depression and schizophrenia.
The entire reason I'm doing the documentary, Lexi, and others watching, is because of mental health issues. Out of all the health issues, I had congestive heart failure, I had a mini stroke, kidney stones, lost my gallbladder, chronic IBS. My stomach always hurt me. I had years of suffering, looking at a toilet filled with blood, Crohn's disease diagnosis, all of these things. All of that paled in comparison to the depression that I suffered. I would take all of those things back. Like the depression was 95% of the suffering, all that other stuff was maybe 5%. So the main reason I wanted to do the documentary was because of mental health. And Lexi, when I started interviewing people, every one of them had some sort of mental health component, anxiety, depression. I didn't realize I was depressed, they said after the fact. We interview people that are doing this for type 2 diabetes, but then afterwards, like, I'm so much happier afterwards. I'm so much more full of joy. So to answer your question, mental health is a huge part of the main documentary, and it's a huge part of the series afterwards. Not only are we going to have an episode on mental health, God willing, if we can continue filming and have the budget to do it after we're done with the documentary, I'm hoping that we can have episodes on different mental health issues. I'm hoping we'll have a whole episode on depression, maybe a whole episode on bipolar, maybe a whole episode on schizophrenia. I think it's mental health issues in the world right now. It's an epidemic. It's crazy, and it's happening to younger and younger people. High school kids walking around with major depression, taking these horrible SSRIs, and so many of the people that are suffering from this is what kills me the most. Um, they have no clue. They could never even wrap their brain around or imagine that their depression is simply a result of the food they're eating. Because when they go to the doctor tells them, you have a chemical imbalance in your brain. This is just you. The only thing we can do is this medication. And it's criminal that that is happening. It's so amazing. Also, Lexi has a YouTube channel. She's sharing her story. There's not a lot of people talking about the mental health issues that Lexi's going through. So I think it's amazing what Lexi's doing. I'll shout out her YouTube channel forever.
Yeah.
But the thing that worries me is how many other Lexis are out there in the world right now? Millions of them. Millions of Lexis that are going through what Lexi was going through before she found Carnivore. And we gotta get the word out. We gotta reach those people. Lexi's doing it with her YouTube channel, and yeah, we hope to do it with the series and have episodes on each of those things. So
Oh yeah. I mean, I was super grateful that she actually came on my channel like you are right now and told her story as well. So I mean, that's you know. I mean, it's stories like that that really inspire me. Even the small ones.
Yeah.
It doesn't take that. And to me, Lexi's not a small story, but it's all of them. You know.
Yeah.
So another question that Lewis has asked, and I'm going to see if I can remember verbatim because I'm having such a hard time. That's my one thing I have a hard time. And when you told me that you do your own, well, you didn't tell me, but I heard you actually say that you actually do your own chats, that you don't have a moderator, and I was like, wow, okay. I was pretty amazed by that.
Yeah, it gets crazy too, right?
It- like I don't have nearly as many people in the chats as you do, and I'm still having a hard time. But I think it's more like the scroll. It just I wish I could like pinpoint the question, but then put it to the side, and then be able to choose it afterwards.
Yeah. Yep.
That would be like really cool. But Lewis asked the question: besides meeting me and him, was there any other meetups that you were like really amazed by or anything like that?
Oh, great question. It was awesome meeting Lewis and Thomas when I was in Boston. Um, any other meetups like that? The thing with the meetups, it's been crazy is the last couple. So we did Boston and then we were in Montana, and the sheer number of people coming up to me and like, this saved my life, and they're like they want to grab me and like, listen to me, this saved my life, and I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. I hear those stories often, but the prevalence and frequency of them has been increasing. Like Montana was crazy. The number of people coming up to me like I was nearly dead and carnivore saved my life, and they want to get their stories out. That's been one amazing thing with these meetups. That's been awesome. One other quick story that was pretty incredible was we did a meetup in Arizona, and that was when we filmed Chris Spath, Laura Spath, and Tammy Peterson. And so again, we're running out of money. We got to raise more money. So it's really expensive to go out there and film. And Adam and I it's two of us. Normally, when you're filming a documentary of this caliber, you'll have like five people. You'll have a dedicated audio guy. You'll have a grip guy. It's just me and Adam. So to raise funds for that, we did a meetup at a movie theater in Arizona. And that meetup was particularly special for me because my mom was there and she hadn't been to any meetups before. And my mom's carnivore. She started about 30 days after I did, and it makes me so nothing makes me more happy in the world that mom is still carnivore right now. Like 2 years later, she's absolutely thriving, and my stepdad's carnivore too. But at the beginning of the meetup, mom comes to the meetup, right? And there was a line out the door. I think Ashley was checking people in and getting people registered. And mom got in the line and she was like, "What are you waiting for?" And they're like, "Oh, we're in line to get a picture with Carrie." And she's like, "That's my son." And so she came in and I got to get my picture with mom. Like she kind of knows what's going on, but it was I think it was really cool sharing that experience with her. And then it was also really cool. She was so nervous, kind of like you were talking about earlier, Thomas, to speak in front of the group. But she got up on stage and she shared her carnivore story in front of the whole group. So that was one a really special meetup. I could talk about meetups forever. The last thing I'll say is the one that you and Lewis went to. That one was really incredible for me too because I was just thinking to myself, it was such a blessing to hear Professor Thomas Seyfried speak. This guy's a college professor for 30 years. Like, I never went to college. I barely graduated high school. Just to imagine what it would cost to sit in on one of his lectures and on such an important topic as cancer. That was pretty awesome, pretty incredible. Yeah, and that was really like that was a big part of that was healing humanity. But Dr. Kiltz, Alia arranged that meetup and put it together and brought all those people together. But that one was great. And now in just a couple days, we're having another one here at Montello Theater, and I'm really excited for this one more so than all of the other ones because one of the things that happens is you learn a little bit at each one, like how can we improve this, how can we make this better, how can we make it. The goal with these isn't just to raise money so we can continue filming the documentary. It's also to help people get inspired and find healing, and we've been seeing that more and more. And like, how can we do that even better? And each meetup we learn something new, and I feel like at this meetup that we're having this weekend on Saturday, it's kind of a culmination. We've learned like do you guys like hearing from the doctors or the individuals more? Do you like the Q&A? Do you like this? And we've really crafted this one just to maximize that healing. What we found is we've been sending out surveys is what people love the doctors. The doctors are great, but they really get fired up with stories like yours, Thomas, and stories like Laura Spath getting up there, and Lynn's going to share her story. Laura was in Arizona. Lynn's going to be at this one, but um, I'm excited for this one. I'm also excited because Dr. Tony Hampton's coming out in person from Chicago, and I love all these doctors. Dr. Kiltz is amazing. He's been to all of our meetups. You guys know I love Dr. Kiltz already, but Dr. Hampton sees hundreds of patients, and his goal in life is to de-prescribe medication, treat the root cause, and get his patients off of medication and give them healing. And he's not just like big talk. He's literally doing it with hundreds of people. He runs a whole medical clinic, and I really love that guy. He's one of the first doctors we interviewed, but he's going to be coming out and speaking in front of the group also. So I'm excited for that one too.
Oh yeah, I mean that's So I just Carnivore Dens, which I don't know if you know who Juliette Marie is. I'm sure you've seen her in the chats before.
Yeah,
She changed her name to Carnivore Dens, so that's a pretty cool name.
nice.
Um, she's asking if your two daughters are carnivore as well.
Yes, so I actually have four daughters. We have triplets plus one. And my oldest daughter, Lily, she's almost 20 now. I just can't, blows my mind. Um, she did carnivore with me when I first started, and she had incredible healing. And since that time, she's been on and off carnivore. And right now, if I talk to her, she's 100% carnivore, I would say 90% of the time. It breaks my heart. She falls off and she falls on. But the thing I'm happy about is she knows what she needs to do. And I'm hoping that she can get back on. My other daughters, the triplets, Emma and Alyssa, are 100% carnivore 100% of the time. They're doing amazing. And my daughter Katie is uh, 99% carnivore. She does a little keto. She has a salad every now and then, but she's eating a full on proper human diet. She's by all accounts, like by the Bart K definition, she's full on carnivore,
Right.
and it's
Yeah, because
really
70/30, yeah.
yeah. It's been awesome. It's the biggest blessing in the world for me that the girls are all doing this. A lot of people, Thomas, gave me a hard time early on. They're like some of these comments we were talking about earlier, probably vegan folks, but they were saying they were suggesting that I forced my daughter Emma to do carnivore. And the truth is, I never even suggested it to Emma. And in my brain, of course, I would have loved it if she'd been carnivore. But my daughter Emma
Oh, of
was
course.
vegan. She was full vegan for 5 years. I never in a million years would have thought that she would ever even consider carnivore. Like she was being vegan because of animals. And Emma decided to do carnivore on her own. Probably, Thomas, because I watched nonstop carnivore content for like a year straight and it rubbed off on her. Like she saw my healing, but Emma was suffering so bad. She was fatigued and she was falling asleep at like
Yeah,
5:30 and
no,
she was tapping out on vegan. So yeah,
yeah.
and my wife
I
Jen's
mean,
carnivore too.
I've mentioned it to you before, but like I've an open invite for Jen. Obviously, I know Jen is not really ready to talk, and that's fine whenever she is. I'd love to have her on, but also Emma too. I mean, her story is pretty inspirational, and just let you know in the descriptions I included the links not only to your channel to Healing Humanity, but also to her two channels, the website for Compassion Carnivore and for her channel as well. So they're in
Oh, I
my
appreciate it.
descriptions.
Yeah,
So
I'm
if
really
anybody,
that's so nice you did that, Thomas. Thank you. I'm really proud of Emma. She's been working really hard and
and you
yeah,
should be.
it's amazing. It's a huge blessing. I realize it because not everyone has most of their family eating the same way, but it's amazing having everyone on board and
And
everyone's just
I just sent out a video birthday card. My niece just had her 21st birthday yesterday.
nice,
Yeah, so you thought 20 was old.
right? Right.
Gemma is asking, Carrie, do you like your cooking or your daughter's cooking? LOL. I like the videos. So I
Oh,
think she's saying she likes Emma's videos, which I do too. I think
yeah.
Emma's real.
Do I like my cooking or Emma's cooking? I like Emma's cooking better. The problem with Emma's cooking is I'm going to give Emma a hard time now. She only cooks when she's doing a YouTube video. She will literally like just I'll feel bad for her. Like, you got to eat something, and then I'll cook something for her. But that has been a
That's
huge blessing, Emma doing these cooking videos, because then I get to eat the food that she makes for the most part. So yeah, I really enjoy it when Emma's cooking or Jen's cooking for sure. Because I was a lone wolf doing carnivore for quite a while. I was doing it by myself. I was out there by the grill, and even now, most of the carnivore meals are prepared by me. Emma does them rarely, but if she's doing a video, I'll get a good meal here or there.
well, what's kind of funny is you were doing, I think it was one of your team up videos, and you were I think the competition or something like that with who makes the best burgers or something like that,
Yeah.
and and you had the blowtorch. It was one of the videos where you had your blowtorch, and my roommate is looking, and for some reason he's like, "You don't give that to Emma, to burn the house down or whatever." And I'm thinking to myself, like, I think they're probably more worried about Carrie burning the house down than they are about Emma.
100%. Yeah. I have come close to burning the house down many more times than Emma, for sure. It's hard not to get excited with that torch, too. That torch should
Hey,
probably only be used outdoors, but what are you going to do?
okay, so I put this question up there, but I'm going to ask another question first. So because it's one I can remember and blah blah blah, because old age memory, so to speak. But even though have a carnivore memory, I'm a little bit better. So Lewis is asking if you had to give up one, would you rather give up butter or salt forever?
Oh, oh man. Lewis has some good questions.
Yeah, he asks us the hard questions.
Yeah.
He's
If I
very
had to
astute.
give up one, I would give up the salt. It's tough because I love my salt, but a lot of long-term carnivores stop the salt, like Bella. My buddy Adam stopped for quite a while. Actually, Adam was here visiting, and we were filming at one time, and he wasn't doing salt, so I said I'm going to try for 3 days. I felt
Mhm.
really good not doing it, and then it kind of naturally creeped back in. But the truth is, for me, I love my butter, and I, as much as I wish I could get all the fat from the meat, a lot of times I supplement with butter. If I have something a leaner cut of meat or a burger patty that doesn't have a lot of fat, I have butter so much. So if I had to pick one, it would be I would keep the butter.
Yeah, I did this interesting thing. I actually made a lamb breast, um, and with it had all the grease, had all the fat and everything like that. So I just took it, I strained it, and it had a little bison tallow in with it too. But I strained it, and I actually put it in like a glass container, and so now I got this extra fat to put in with my food. So I had it today, and it was delicious.
Nice.
It just feels so. I mean, I feel good about it. I feel good about today anyway, but it's just amazing. So,
Yeah.
so the next question is from Bacon Baby. I just love that name, Bacon Baby. Carrie, have you experienced depression at any point in the past 2 years?
Yeah. Unfortunately, yes. One time. And so Jen and my mom used to be a travel agent, and she got us like this crazy deal to go on a cruise, and that was where we got married, was on a cruise. And it was about a year. I'm bad with dates. I think it was about a year ago. We went on a family vacation on a cruise, and I was 100% strict carnivore the whole time. This was before Jen was carnivore, so it was over a year ago because Jen's been carnivore for a year. On the cruise, I you couldn't have ate better carnivore than me. I had bacon and eggs and omelets, and I had burger patties and all sorts of meat. Didn't eat off plan, not one single fruit or vegetable. And about day 2 or 3, I started getting inflammation in my lower back, which I had before carnivore. I had for decades. And I started getting just the worst mood, into depression, into, I think, like by day 3 on the cruise, I felt horrible because I'm trying to put on a happy face for the family, but I'm like, I just want to die. This is so horrible. And I was just hanging out in the cabin while the family was going out and doing stuff, and my depression came back hard and heavy and faster than I ever would have imagined. And long story short, what I learned afterwards, I learned this from Dr. Lisa Wiedemann, who I guess she goes on a lot of cruises. The cruise line that we went on, I'm going to name their name now to save you guys. It's NCL. They deep fry their bacon in seed oils. I never in a million years would have imagined that that was even a thing. Like, why would you even do that? Like, it's bacon, and I ate bacon every day. It was like bacon and eggs every day. So, long story short, the culprit that brought back my depression was seed oils. I had nothing else off plan that entire week, and it was crazy to me how quickly that came back. And so, like, people joke with me a lot that I'm really strict on carnivore, and it's just that's the reason why. Like, my depression was so bad that I'm never going to tinker around with it to try to go back. And it was kind of a good experience in retrospect, that happening unintentionally, eating all of those seed oils and getting depressed again, just because I know, like, that is how quick this can come back if I mess around. And I
Yeah.
really have no need to mess around because God's honest truth, like, I'm not lacking for anything. Like, I feel so good doing it, eating this way and just eating beef, butter, bacon, eggs, meat that I wouldn't want to. But hopefully that answers your question. That was it there, and it was really eye opening for me.
Yeah. I mean, I think, I mean, sometimes, like, we don't realize how lucky we are that we actually can recognize some of these issues, because there's sometimes things happen to us and we're like, it's like kind of like weeks later, it's like, I
Yeah,
think this was happening to me, but you don't know it right from the get go, you
yeah,
know. Like, I think, like, I'm not going to lie, I think, like, I went to my niece's birthday party on Saturday, and in retrospect, I think I did pretty well. But it's still, my sugars were really, really high for the longest time. Now they're a lot lower. Now my sugar is about 98, and it actually went up from there. So, but it was like 180, 150. Like this morning, it was like 170, and I'm like, oh, like thinking I have to do the insulin back again and all that stuff.
mm,
And all I had, okay, number wise, okay, out of all the food I had, she had like sashimi, like sushi and sashimi. I had two pieces of sushi, okay, and then I had four chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A. If you ever seen a chicken nugget from Chick-fil-A, they're like almost like the popcorn chicken, so they're not even huge,
right,
okay. And then I had like one Pepsi Zero, and then the rest of the time I had like the charcuterie, with the cheeses and the salamis and stuff like that,
right,
and I had shrimp. That's all I had. That was it. I had no cake. I had no candy. Like, they offered me the birthday cake. I'm like, no, I'm already, like, I've had too much already, and they understood. They were totally, my family doesn't really understand carnivore that much, but
yeah,
at least they're at the point now where they respect that I'm doing it, and they're not going to judge me on it, if that makes any sense. Get a few judgers here and there, but that's about it. And my sugars were still high,
mm,
and I felt a little emotional. I felt a little like off. My depression kind of came, my depression, as came back and everything like that a little bit. And I mean, luckily, just in time for you, in time for now, I'm feeling like 10 times better.
oh, good,
And I was able to go to work and everything like that. And, and I like my work schedule. It's 4 hours a day, like 3 to 4 days a week, which is perfect for me. I don't get overtired, and I can still do things.
right. Well,
Eventually, that's going to change, but
I agree with what you said, though. That's one of the nice things with carnivores when you really know if something's affecting you. Whereas
yeah,
before, I would have no before carnivore. I was so many inputs, so many variables, so many ingredients, so many sauces and spices and sides. Like, I'd have no idea what was causing it or what the culprit was. But
yeah. Now we can kind of pinpoint it, because I'm
yeah,
guessing. I'm guessing at the very least, I'm guessing the chicken nuggets had seed oils in them.
I was
You
gonna
know,
say that because I used to love Chick-fil-A. Their ingredients are crazy. Like, just on their chicken sandwich. I don't know if you've ever seen this, Thomas. It's nuts. It's like hundreds of ingredients. It's like chicken and bread. Like, what are you doing? And there's like hundreds of ingredients in there. Just their chicken sandwich. I imagine the chicken nuggets probably got some craziness in there.
And if you think about it really deeply, okay, those nuggets aren't really not that big to begin with. Now, if
Right.
you take apart that nugget, how much chicken is actually in that nugget? You
Right.
know, it's probably like 90, like 80% of it at least is probably the breading. It's probably the coating.
Yep.
You know, so I mean, it's it's mind boggling. Is I guess the best expression to say. You
Right.
know.
Well, that's another thing that's going on now. Like some of these places are no longer using seed oils; they're using tallow, and it's like that's a good step in the right direction. But then you have a chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A, and I don't think Chick-fil-A is even using proper oils yet. But just as an example, then you have a fast food item like a chicken sandwich that has 200 ingredients in it anyway. It's like, what are we doing? But it's in tallow, so there you go. It's like
Yeah.
baby
And
steps, but
you
it
know,
doesn't
I mean,
address
the
the
thing
larger
is,
problem.
I mean, this is kind of the a downer a little bit, but I don't know if it was on your channel. I don't know if it was on somebody else's channel. Everybody has sort of that like going to fast food places and someone was saying, if it was you, then I apologize for not knowing it was you.
No worries.
um, somebody was saying that Wendy's was actually doing everything in the beef tallow. But then one of the Wendy's, they found out that one of them was putting Pam all over the grill.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like if you didn't have that honest cashier to say, yeah, they sprayed Pam on it, you would never have known. Everybody would have thought, oh, like, so in a way, even when they're being good, you still got to be a little careful,
Yeah,
you
you
know.
never you really never know. I heard
Yeah,
that with Wendy's too. I think Dr. Baker did a video before saying Wendy's is legit, it's clean, but then there's certain locations or franchises or whatever where sometimes they'll spray it on there. So it's like you can never tell going out to eat. It's
yeah.
just always a little bit of a
It's
risk.
the only way with anything that you're going to guarantee that you're going to get good quality stuff is to do it yourself.
Right. Yep.
I think even like if you decide to go keto and you decide, I think the only way you're going to get good vegetables is by growing it yourself.
Yeah.
And like when you go to these produces and stuff like that, you don't know what they're spraying it with. You don't know what the pesticides are for these great big companies and stuff like that. The only way you're going to do is by having your own garden and by just doing everything your own self.
Yeah.
But I say, like, if I ever do decide to do, if I'm going to grow anything, I'd rather grow cucumbers and make my own pickles, you know, and stuff like that, because my mom used to make a really good cucumber salad,
Yeah.
that was like when you grow up. So like, those are the types of things I miss are those simple things.
Oh
And
yeah.
lucky for me, I actually know how to make it. It's the simplest recipe,
Right.
you know. But but pickles would be a little bit of an interesting e- endeavor for me.
Yeah, for sure. My wife Jen, that's got her through carnivore. I swear she's over 1 year on carnivore now, and she had a horrible meat aversion. So every time she has a burger patty, even now, she still does it. Pickles, pickles. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's working for you.
Can
Go
you
for it.
imagine if she actually? Can you imagine if you guys actually grew your own
Right.
cucumber and she made it herself? She learned how to pickle the pickles and stuff like that. That'd probably be a good
I think
good
we
thing.
we actually we did that once a long time ago.
Oh,
Um,
really? How did it come out?
they were pretty good. This
Okay.
was like years ago. But we've tried growing food here. This was like Providence for us. This was a lesson. We moved out to this homestead. We're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. We got chickens and goats and we started to do a garden. And no joke, we tried for like 4 or 5 years. And we're city slickers. We don't know what we're doing, but it's not that hard, right? Seed in the ground, water, but you got to have good soil. And our soil here is horrible. And we failed over and over and over again trying to grow stuff. And now in retrospect, where the garden was, it's just like the chickens are over there now, and I'm like, that's the answer right there. That's what it was meant to be the whole time. We'll just
It was meant
leave
to
it.
be the chicken coop, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
I told you that my sister actually has chickens, right?
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I think they're up to like 10 in her yard.
If anyone is considering getting an animal, chickens are the go-to. Don't get goats. Chickens are amazing. Like you could just watch the chickens, and they're the hardest workers. They'll eat all the insects and bugs around the yard, and they're working. They're hard workers. They're entertaining too. And the eggs you get from your own chickens are so much better than what you get anywhere else.
I'm just trying. I saw a couple other questions, but while I'm looking, Lewis asked, "Would you rather explain the carnivore diet to a room full of nutritionists or to a group of fifth graders?"
Another great question from Lewis. My answer is 100% the fifth graders. The shame on the nutritionists. They should know better at this point. Like Thomas, myself, everyone here, again, I barely graduated high school. I was able to tinker around and finally figure this out that we shouldn't be moderating addiction to carbohydrates. Um, Plus, I would rather do it for the fifth graders because that's another reason I'm so passionate about this is I was so sick for so long, and I'm like, I ate pretty darn good as a kid. My mom made home cooked meals. I had McDonald's every now and then. It wasn't until my teenage years I ate worse. But fifth graders, this next generation of kids coming up, it's like they're eating poison, literally toxic processed poison. I've got some little cousins, and they're 100% of their diet. I'm not even exaggerating. Is processed. It's it's the Smuckers things and the goldfish and the frozen pizzas, and it's like nothing natural whatsoever. So uh, I think the fifth graders too would have more sense if you shared the truth with them. Like, look, it's important that we eat natural foods instead of chemical concoctions that are made in a lab or a factory. And I think the message would resonate better too.
Okay, so Lewis is on a roll here, obviously. On the homestead, have you ever had any DIY projects totally flop, and what happened?
Oh wow. Yes. Um, well, I mentioned earlier, one of the big projects that we do here often is firewood collection. And that was one of the craziest things. Like I said, I fainted with a chainsaw in my hand. So that was quite a big failure. The biggest failure that I've had on the homestead, Lewis, is this. I would, prior to carnivore, I would get little bursts of energy and I would be gung ho like, we need to build a greenhouse or we need to do a little dog kennel or we need to do this or that. And I would be excited. And then I would start doing that and I would be gasping for air, fatigued and tired. And then sadly, but this is the truth, would leave it with Jen and the girls to finish. There was many, many, many projects like that. Um, the other big failure, I would say, in retrospect, was one of the big projects we did was we built a greenhouse. And like I mentioned earlier, the purpose of the greenhouse initially was let's grow plants. And after like 5 years, like I said, we were never successful in growing plants to the point at one point we just got a bunch of buckets and we bought soil and we're like, let's try to grow it in there. And then some animal got in and like destroyed it. It's like, and then another time it was like a drought. It's like every time there was something trying to stop us from growing plants, but built a big, huge, elaborate greenhouse. And now that greenhouse has been converted into a chicken coop. So I guess in the end, it's kind of a success, but for the intention of building a greenhouse to grow plants, it was a total failure.
I guess that goes with the everything happens for a reason concept. So,
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm taking it as for sure.
so Officer Magoo says, "Do you have a rough date for release? Cannot wait to see it and encourage everyone to watch it."
Yes, great
I knew
question.
something about 2026, but I didn't know if you
Yeah,
knew.
we're completely done filming the documentary. We're now in the hardest stage. A lot of people don't understand how all of this works, but we have hundreds of hours worth of footage we're editing and sound grading and compiling together and triaging maybe is a good word. Like this is going to go in the documentary. This is going to go in the series. This is going to go in the main documentary. This is going to go in the depression episode of the series later. So we're working on all of that through the remainder of this year. And the goal is to release the documentary in 2026, early 2026. Um, the cool thing is it's all been filmed and the majority of it, the big parts have been edited. The big parts of the documentary, we've interviewed 60 people, 9 doctors, but there's a couple of big stories. Bill Knott being one of them. I don't want to give away too much, but Bill Knott is one of the big stories. His whole thing is edited. The beginning, starting on day one, and then what happened 1 year later. And Bill's story will be at the beginning of the documentary, just to give you guys a little bit of a teaser. And then it'll also be at the end. We're going to be like, all right, let's check back in with Bill 1 year later and see what he's doing out there in Alaska, knocking on the door there. So 2026 is the answer, and we're really close right now in the fact that we've done filming everything, and it's just a matter of putting it together.
So a follow up to that question, Bacon Baby, I just love that name. Um, where will Healing Humanity documentary premiere, at Montello or online?
Yeah, so it's going to premiere 100% at Montello Theater. In fact, I've already watched a bit of the rough version of it there myself just recently, which is pretty awesome seeing it on the big screen. But we're going to premiere it at the theater. The goal with the documentary right now, we're working with a major production company that has done this many times. The goal has always been to reach as many people as possible and make it as accessible as possible. So a lot of people have been asking. There's the animal documentary that recently came out, and for that documentary, you had to go on and pay like $20 or whatever. You had to rent it or something. You had to pull out your credit card to watch it. We want to, at all costs, avoid that. We want people to be able to, as many people to be able to see it as possible. And right now, that's Netflix. Netflix is the biggest one. So we want to be able, if you have a Netflix subscription, you can watch it right away on there. We want to premiere it at the movie theater, then get it on Netflix. But it's no matter what happens, it's going to be a hybrid where maybe it's on Netflix for a little while, and then maybe it's on HBO or Amazon Prime, and then maybe it's just on YouTube at the end. But we want it to be accessible to everyone. And we're also, besides Montello Theater, the goal is to go around the country. These meetups have just been blowing up. And we've done a couple at movie theaters. We did one at a movie theater in Washington. We did one in Arizona. But we want to do a meetup again at that theater in Washington, for example, and then premiere the documentary at that small, independently run movie theater. And I'm hoping that we can do a whole bunch of movie theaters all over the country and support some of these smaller, small town movie theaters that aren't run by like some big corporation is the goal.
That sounds very promising. All right, so Rockin' Keto Amy, and I just subscribed to your channel, Amy, and look forward to seeing some of your lives. So, how long were you keto before carnivore? 7 years for her.
Oh, good question. Thank you, Rockin' Keto Amy. I think you were on my Saturday night before. Appreciate it. I was keto probably, I want to say 10 to 15 years. I got to look back. I'm horrible with dates, but whenever I watched Fathead on Netflix, that was when I started doing keto. The truth, though, is I wasn't strict keto for that entire time. I was mostly keto, though. I would do keto, and like I said, I would get the snacks and treats, and I'd fall off the wagon, and then I would binge and purge. And then for a while, I'm like, I'm going to do one meal a day. I tried that, eating junk food. I'll do one meal a day, but I'll do 2,000 calories or less. I'll have some pizza or whatever. And then I did one meal a day keto for a while. I did Weight Watchers. I did a year where I was doing keto, and it was almost entirely plant based. I had just a little bit of chicken, but it was a salad for lunch, salad for dinner, a little bit of chicken, and Brussels sprouts or low carb veg. So I pretty much did all of it on and off for over a decade at least before starting carnivore. And I just want to say this real quick too is keto is amazing, and I'm not knocking keto. If anyone is out there doing keto, I really don't think I ever would have started carnivore had I hadn't been introduced through keto before. If I was just doing the standard American diet and had to go from that to carnivore, I don't think I could have ever wrapped my brain around it. It was the fact that I had done keto that I'm like, well, this is carnivore thing is just strict keto. Like I've done keto, so it's not that big of a stretch to do carnivore.
Yeah. So, Lewis, you were not lying when you said to me that you had a lot of questions for Carrie. If you could have dinner, steak, obviously,
Oh,
with any historical figure, who would it be?
wow. Oh
Did you
man, these are
expect so many
tough.
analytical questions out there?
Right? I know I'm going to answer this, and then afterwards I'm going to think of somebody else.
Right.
There's so many historical. I would probably pick Abraham Lincoln, and one of the reasons I say that is probably because it's fresh on my brain. But we have our small town movie theater where we're having the Montello meetup, and on Saturday we do history tours. And Lynn and Dave, a lot of people know Lynn from the Healing Humanity channel, Midlife Carnivore. Lynn DeVokie and Dave DeVokie, they become good friends. They're in town. They're going to be going to the meetup. They're on vacation this week. But I gave them a history tour. And our building, the Montello Theater, I always call it the world famous Montello Theater. The deed predates Lincoln's presidency. And just thinking of it in that term, our 16th president, this building was here before him, uh, absolutely blows my mind. I can't. My answer would be Lincoln, or it would be Frank Dodge. Frank Dodge is the one that started Montello Theater, and it was started as Dodge's Opera House in the 1800s, like around the time of Lincoln, which before there were any world wars, before there were airplanes, before there was electricity. I would love to have dinner with someone like that back in the day. That would be incredible.
Yeah, I think I can agree with that answer. I have no idea who it would be for me, to tell you the truth.
It's a tough one, right?
Yeah, Abe Lincoln's probably a pretty good one. Um, yeah, I would have to think about that a little bit more. So, since the question wasn't really to me, I will.
Well, we'll
we
we'll
got,
circle back near the end because I'll probably have another answer too. I'm like,
yeah. All right. So, I'm just seeing if I can find any other questions. There's many questions, but like I said, when you scroll, like it's the scrolling thing. It's
right.
it's
Hey,
like sort of like
one
wonky,
one thing I was just thinking, Lewis, are you open we could hire you for well, on one of the on the live stream calls to generate discussion topics? Because these are like some killer questions. These are awesome,
Yeah. Oh, you should. He would be.
right?
I mean, I always
On my
find I
Saturday
always,
on my Saturday live stream, I'm going to be repeating all of these. I'll give Lewis
I
full credit though.
I always say, and I hope Lewis doesn't take offense to this or anything like that, because it's not meaning to be offensive. But there's something about Lewis, okay, that I noticed that whenever like we're in the Zoom calls and stuff like that, Lewis is very quick to put stuff in the chats, like links and everything. But it's almost like he puts it in before anybody even asks for it.
He's like a wizard.
You know, like
He's a
like he has
carnivore
this like
wizard.
six, yeah, like this like insight, and like I'm like looking, and it's like all of a sudden you see it right away, like it's within seconds of it being mentioned,
Right.
and it's just like he's like this wizard when it comes to computers. Like Helen was asking me to help her with this one thing, and I helped her. We helped each other. It was she wanted to basically what it was she wanted to get all the interviews she had, like with you, with me, everybody, and put it into one collection that people could just click and just watch all those videos, like
Right.
kind of like a post page or whatever, or like a playlist. Playlist, that's the word. And so I wasn't sure how to do it because she was on one type of thing, I was on another type of thing, and I'm like, who you should ask to help you is Lewis. And she's like, Lewis knows how to do this stuff. I go, are you kidding me? He'd be able to blink his eyes and it'd be all done,
Right.
So, Lewis, another question. What's one health myth you wish would disappear forever?
Ah, I love this one. One health myth I wish would disappear forever is uh, the notion that you need to exercise to lose weight. That one just particularly, maybe personally for me, drove me nuts because I used to believe that before carnivore, and I think a lot of my yo-yoing and struggling was that incorrect belief that I'm just lazy and I need to exercise more, and then I would lose weight. If I would just run a little bit more, I'd lose weight. I see so many people now. Like I've said this before, but uh, carnivore for me is all of the healing. Of course, losing the weight is a good part of it, and a lot of people get into it to lose weight, and then they realize they have all of this healing. But uh, I didn't lose any weight or find any healing on carnivore until after I had healed. Like when I didn't exercise. None of it was from exercise, is what I'm trying to say. I didn't lose a single pound from exercising, and that kind of blew my mind when I did carnivore because I remember so many times, oh, you just got to burn some calories, like calories in, calories out. Go run on the treadmill, go do some exercise. And the real truth of it was, I was so sick and depressed, I would just plop down on the couch. Like it's to me, being in that state is like being sick. It's like having pneumonia or having the flu, and you wouldn't tell someone with pneumonia or the flu, oh, just go jog now, go run on the treadmill for an hour. Um, Plus, some of it's just so stupid. Like we were talking about fifth graders before. The fifth graders could run the math on the calories in, calories out thing. Like, I'm going to go eat some pizza and then I'm going to run on a treadmill. Like some of these treadmills will show you how many calories you're burning. It's like, oh, okay, I just got to run a marathon now and that'll equate to the calories. Like the math doesn't even work out. But it kills me now when I exercise now. Exercise is so important, but not to lose weight. And like many carnivores, I never exercised until I got healthy, until I healed all those health issues I had. And now, when I do go exercise and I see someone and they remind me of my former self, they're overweight or they're struggling or having health issues and they're jogging down the road, and I know exactly what I would have done if I was them. I would be jogging down the road and then I would get home and then I would say, I just jogged. I probably burned a bunch of calories. Now I deserve to go eat a cupcake or some pizza or some junk food. And the math doesn't work out, and it's so misguided. You can't out exercise a bad diet, and it's just 100%. Fix your
Yeah.
nutrition, you get healthier, and then you can exercise afterwards.
Mine would have to be, and some people might disagree with this. I don't know, because I mean it's just nature of the beast. But cholesterol.
Yeah.
Um, the rumor, the myth that cholesterol causes all heart disease. And everything. And I feel, I mean, the more fat I eat, the more meat I eat, the more, yeah, it's bringing up my cholesterol, but I don't feel horrible with that. I feel so much better, by eating the meat. So, if we didn't have that myth, then eating meat would not be demonized the way it is.
Yeah.
So, it's the one thing that I would have to say.
I'm with
Um,
you. I, I really believe this. I've said this before, but I believe I was deficient in cholesterol.
oh,
I
me
would
too.
for so long, like I said earlier, I was eating salad for lunch, salad for dinner, a little bit of protein because I was told if I have fatty meat, I'm going to have a heart attack. And I had congestive heart failure. When I started eating that fatty meat, it was like a light switch went off. I'm like, my body was like, yes, you finally figured it out. My sleep improved, my immune system got stronger, my testosterone went up. All of those things are related to our hormones. And when you eat
Mhm.
that fatty meat, it regulates your hormones. Your brain is made out of fat. Like you look around in the world right now, and fertility issues are rampant. Depression's through the roof. It's all related, I believe, in large part due to fat being demonized and meat being demonized. People are just eating fruit and vegetables and lettuce, and their hormones are completely out of whack. And then you end up with depression and anxiety and all these fertility issues.
Yeah. And it's funny, like I showed my, I was a little, well, I don't know why I turned off the light for it's one of those touch switches. So, I remember I was on a Zoom call with you guys, and Lynn seemed concerned about my numbers. I showed my numbers, and Lynn was very concerned. It was actually one of the ones with Dr. Philip, Amy's cousin,
Yeah.
and, you know, and he didn't really seem to be as worried, which is God bless the both of them, but but my I was actually a little bit more onto the cholesterol part itself. I thought it was funny, like it only shows to be 117 for my cholesterol, and I think we all know the 117 is really not high at all, But yet they had it as high at the for the hospital, so I know that's going to be the bell. I actually go to my primary in 2 days on the 24th, so I already know what he's going to bug me about.
Oh
We
yeah.
all know that, It doesn't take a rocket science to figure that out. The only thing that I don't know is how I'm going to handle it. Do I just, last time I just kind of gave in and didn't take the stand, but I just let him write the prescription, and it was like, okay, it's worth the $5, but just take it and just throw it out. And so I got all these questions coming up, and guess who's asking most of them?
Lewis.
Um, I sometimes dream that I ate carbs and I wake up all panicked. Do you ever dream about carbs? And if so, what food haunts your dreams?
Okay. I have had nightmares, not dreams. I have had this. It's been a long time, Lewis, but I had this before. The same thing. I imagine this was the dream or the nightmare. One of my daughters threw a piece of birthday cake, and it hit the wall right next to me. And in slow motion, a piece of the frosting was coming towards my mouth, and I'm like, no! And then I woke up. That was my nightmare. And so yes, I have had that. I have learned, it's kind of funny. A lot of people talk about similar dreams like that. I really believe I had Malia on my channel before. and she talks a lot about our gut bacteria, gut biome, and there's different die-off stages. And usually during some of these die-off stages, this particular type of bacteria loves starch and carbs and sugar. And she said often when you go through a big die-off, sometimes it's at 3 weeks, sometimes it's at 3 months, sometimes it's at 2 years. You'll have these intense, like crazy, either cravings while you're awake or dreams while you're sleeping. And she's like, that's the bacteria, like doing every little last bit it can to get through to you to try to to try to survive, basically, because it's going to die. When you do carnivore, you're starving it of that sugar, carbs, and starch. It dies away, but it's making every last attempt. So I think that's in part what causes some of those dreams and crazy cravings.
Yeah, my I never actually dreamt about carbs, but I always make the joke, and I've made it with you guys, I made it with Bella, made it with everybody, that I'm dreaming about being attacked by gummy bears, and they keep on bouncing back.
Nice.
That's yeah. So the next question is, what's the most unexpected item in your fridge right now?
Huh. Let's see. I've got burger patties in there. I've got some strip steaks I'm going to cook up. I got a lot of butter. I've got sparkling water. I don't think there's anything weird. The only weird thing in there is there's like this glass jar. It's got a cover on it with raw ground up chicken thighs and liver, and that is the dog and cat food. Um, so it's still carnivore, but not for human consumption. That's probably the weirdest thing. I don't think there's anything really weird in there. There might be some. There might be like some keto barbecue sauce or something that my daughter Katie uses. That would probably be the weirdest.
Um, okay, so Booby Ghost, it's not a question, but I just thought I'd put it up there since we were just talking about dreams. I had that scary dream, thought I ate a pizza slice. I was super upset, and I woke up in a sweat.
Oh yeah, isn't that crazy? You wake up, you're
Sounds
like,
like
oh, thank
it.
goodness it didn't happen.
Yeah. See, that would be a bad joke. If you had that dream all the time, and then your husband actually like decides to take like a slice of pizza and put it in your hand, like
Set it
when you
there.
wake up.
What did
Why?
I do? That'd be a funny YouTube video. A little
That
mean, but
would
it'd
be.
be funny.
Okay, so what was it about? So I'm going to re-elaborate on that question with the refridge. He said about like what is the weirdest thing you have right now? What is? I'm going to go a little bit step further than that and ask you what is the weirdest thing you've ever had in your fridge since you started carnivore?
Since I
Like I'm
started,
sure you've had some doozies along the way,
yeah. Um, hmm.
like tofu bacon. Ew,
No, none of that.
that would be
I,
disgusting.
I can't think of anything extreme. The only kind of weird thing would be we've had beef bacon in there before. Have you had beef bacon
Well,
yet?
didn't Emma do it because she was doing lion diet, so she did the beef bacon.
Yeah, and that was
Yeah.
surprisingly really good. There's been other things in there because my whole family wasn't carnivore when I initially started, so that was
Mm.
always interesting. I remember back then, like envying Dr. Chafee's fridge. I don't know if everyone here has seen Dr. Chafee's refrigerator, but he opens it up and it's just racks of steak with nothing else in it. I'm like, that's what I want to get to someday. But when I first started carnivore, there was all sorts of other stuff in their vegetables and salad and junk when the girls were before they were carnivore. Um, yeah, there's nothing else really weird. Just the largest thing I've ever had was brisket. I remember a couple times I'll cook up a huge brisket, end up putting it in the fridge, cut it up, and it takes up like the whole shelf. And that goes pretty quick in my house, though. The brisket does now that everyone's eating carnivore. That's one of my favorites. But
Yeah, that sounds so delicious. Um, okay, so what's your guilty pleasure TV show or podcast that people wouldn't expect?
yeah, podcast wise, I don't know if people would expect this or not, but one of my favorite podcasts to watch is Theo Vaughn. He's a comedian, and
Oh,
his sense of humor just cracks me up every single time. TV shows, I don't really watch much TV. I'm pretty much just watching YouTube nowadays. Every now and then we'll watch something on Netflix, like a series. The last thing we watched on Netflix was the Poop Cruise documentary. I don't know if anyone here was a fan of Poop Cruise, but that was pretty interesting,
oh, I'm sure if I watch it, I'm sure I will become a fan. But
right? It really scared me thinking about the upcoming cruise. These poor people were stuck on a cruise ship with the toilets all failed, and it was just mayhem.
oh
Um,
my god,
but yeah, Theo's one of my favorite podcasts. Joe Rogan. A lot of the stuff I listen to is it's nothing interesting. It's just like health and nutrition stuff mostly. Other than that, Theo Vaughn and Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan's good. I remember watching him when he was doing Fear Factor.
Yeah,
The things he used to do on that show.
my
And then
long term
also
goal
news radio too when he was like on that show. I mean,
back in the day. Yep. My goal is my wish list would be to get on Joe Rogan's radar at some time for the documentary because one of the things that I like about Joe is many years ago he had on this guy. I think his name is Diamond Dallas Page, and he does like yoga, and he was helping people heal through nutrition and exercise. And there was this guy that was a vet that came on, and the guy was a veteran. His knees were blown out, and he had like those two walking crutches. He could barely walk. And after this guy helped him fix his nutrition and diet, he found total healing. And it was amazing. Like the guy was doing headstands and stuff, the transformation from before and after. And I remember Joe actually started crying seeing that transformation. And I feel like Joe Rogan, he's been carnivore. He's done carnivore on and off. He's promoted carnivore. He's talked about it. But I feel like Joe thinks of carnivore like we were talking about earlier. Like it's a great way to drop some pounds and get healthier. But I don't think that Joe has any idea how healing it is. That there's literally people reversing MS and it's on their MRIs that their lesions are gone. That people are reversing type 2 diabetes with carnivore. I don't think Joe knows all of those things. So long story short, that's my long-term goal is to get on his radar at some point with these stories of healing because I think he'd be really inspired to know that this is way more than just losing some vanity pounds on carnivore. Like people are finding
yeah,
incredible healing.
no, I agree with that. I totally agree with that. So I before I ask this question, okay, I have a question to ask Lewis. Lewis, did you get any sleep last night while you were coming up with these questions? Um, would you rather give up a steak for a year or give up eggs forever?
Oh, I didn't see the forever at the end there.
Yeah, eggs forever and steak for a year.
I was gonna shout out eggs 100%, but that was before the forever part. Oh,
I mean, the thing is, okay, I would definitely want my steak, but the thing is steak would only be for the year, and there's other things I could have
right.
in the meantime. I could probably deal with one whole year,
I'm
you
with you.
know, but eggs. So I mean, that being said, if he said forever for either one, then I'd say no. I would give up the eggs forever if it was a choice between two at the same level. But especially at our age, we're a little bit older, so one year goes pretty fast.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
In retrospect, it always does. Yeah, I'm with you. I would give up the steak for a year. I'd
yeah,
do it. I like people watch my YouTube channel and they're like, "Oh, it must be nice eating all the steak." I really don't eat that much steak. It's just that when I do, I normally put it on YouTube or film it because it's fun. Like it's more exciting than me cooking burgers for the 4,000th
yeah.
time. I don't even like most of what I eat is burger patties or chuck roasts. Chuck roast is my favorite. So if I can keep my chuck roast, that's not a steak. I'm keeping the chuck roast, Lewis. I could do it. I could do it for a year. I wouldn't want to give up the eggs. I've done lion diet a couple times and I've had really good success with it. But what always happens for me is I get to the point where my body's like, it's just screaming at me, like, dude, you need some more eggs. Whatever's in eggs, like, we need more of that. And then, so I'll fluctuate between lion and then going back to eggs. But I always want that egg, so I can't give up eggs forever.
Well, did you have you seen the new diet that Mitch is starting, the alternate day lion, or
Oh,
not
no.
alternate day, no, the intermittent lion diet. It's like where you're lying for 2 days, then you take a break and you have like salmon or something like that. So
That might be a
let's
good option. That's kind of
I
cool,
I hope that works, because I think that'd be a pretty good trend.
right?
You know,
It's that's the thing too. It's probably I always just go back to whatever we would have done since the start of time, whatever's ancestrally appropriate. And doing lion like that is probably more like, oh, I get a little egg here or there, a little fish here or there, but mostly just
Mhm.
catch a big animal, eat a whole bunch of mostly just meat kind of thing.
I'm just trying to look for
Do you
aside from Lewis. I'm not really seeing too many questions from anybody else.
do you Thomas? Do you do fish much?
I I don't do fish a lot, but I do occasional. Like sometimes um, I'll get salmon.
Yeah,
At my niece's birthday party, I had the sashimi, so that had all the raw fish in there and everything. So I mean, I did like two pieces of sushi, but I did also mostly sashimi. Which for anybody that doesn't know, sashimi is just the fish. It's no rice, nothing. It's just raw fish. That's it.
nice.
Um,
I haven't had that yet. I'd like to try that.
yeah.
My daughter Lily cooks up some really good salmon. Um, I haven't had it in a while, so I gotta get that back into the mix because I probably had it like once a month maybe, but every time that's a treat. But when we filmed Bill Knott in Alaska, he was able to get us some fresh salmon, like just caught, and it was like I would almost rather have that than a ribeye. It was so good. I'm really looking forward to getting back up there maybe and getting some more of that because that was incredible.
And I have occasionally, like maybe once a month, for like a week, I'll do sardines.
Mm,
I like every like once a week, every morning, until they're all gone, and then I like take a while to get some more for budget reasons.
right,
Because I'll buy like $20 worth, and if I don't have that 20 the following month, I'm not going to get them.
right.
Um, but I know Mark Johnson would be the first one to say on here that sardines are bait, but you know, but I do it's funny though. As a kid, I didn't like sardines. At least I didn't think I did. It wasn't until I became carnivore that I actually acquired the ability to have a can of sardines. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I know my buddy Bill in Alaska. He's done a couple stints of the sardine fest and incredible like results from doing that. I've never had sardines my whole life, but on Carnivore, Emma and I tried them once, and it was fine. I was kind of grossed out at first because I'm like, you just eat the bone like that. Like I'm imagining like crunching into like a big bone, and that kind of disgusted me. But then when I actually had it, I'm like, this is, tastes like tuna. Like if I was closing my eyes, I would have thought I was eating like a can of tuna or something.
Yeah. Well, I make the joke, kind of changing the subject just a little bit. I make the joke, or I made the joke. I think it was on one of your lives. I don't know if you noticed it or not, but I was talking about Bill Knott, and I have to say this honestly: if I can get Bill Knott on my channel to do what we're doing right now, okay, I would have, after that, it'd be like almost like Seinfeld. You go out when you're on top,
Just
because
quit.
I would consider that to be like, okay, my channel's at the ultimate now. I've achieved the ultimate. Nothing against you, nothing against
No,
anybody else.
I agree with you 100%. I'm trying to do it.
Because
I'm trying
how
to do
many
it myself,
people have Bill not coming on their channel?
right?
It's like,
In the early days, way back when, I had him on for maybe two or three live streams, and he's nervous to do a live stream, is what the truth is right now. So I haven't pushed it, but he's like, I just don't feel comfortable. I'd rather do the live stuff, so I haven't pushed it. But I'm with you 100%. I'd love to have him back on mine too. I'm sure he'll do it at some point. The crazy thing is he's coming out to Hack Your Health. I'm like, dude, you're willing to do that, but not a live stream. Like, come on, live stream's a million times easier than flying across the country and then standing up and talking in front of people.
yeah, it's. I mean, I guess sometimes you just weird things affect you.
Yeah, I'm always cautious with Bill too because I'm like, listen, man, you're still healing and you're on your journey, so that your mindset's the most important thing. So you just focus on what you need to focus on, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, he if he doesn't know an inspiration to all of us. He is totally modest because
I remind him often, and every time he's like surprised about it. But we're going to visit him in a couple of weeks. We're just this isn't for the documentary. It's just a family thing we're going out to do, and I'm going to remind him again.
all right. So Dustin just asked a question, but within seconds it just disappeared. Like I said, these questions go so fast. You must have like a really good system.
No, it's a mess. It's always tough. I always end up too where I'm like 45 minutes behind because I spend too much time on one question and then more come in.
Like I always make the joke um, about Dr. Chafee that he takes a long time with each question, like answering them and stuff like that. But
Oh
to tell
yeah.
you the truth, I think what it is he just has a hard time finding the questions. He's probably like answering the one question because he's still searching for the one that was just asked. But
he's he's
Dustin
he's a
just asked a question.
he's thorough. He's very thorough. We filmed him twice for the documentary, and he's so good though. But yeah, very thorough.
Okay, that wasn't it. Yeah, it's crazy that Kevin Smith went vegan. I agree. Oh, did I just see it? This is crazy. I'm sorry. Dustin, for some reason the scroller's not letting me do. I'm sorry
Oh
about that.
no, no worries.
Oh, I got it. Okay, cool. All right. I see it coming up. All right. Anyone in our space you've not had on that you like to, or who have you had on that's totally surprised you?
Yeah, good question. Someone that I have not had on that I would like to. Uh, there's quite a few actually, but first one that comes to mind is Kelly Hogan. I have had her. She came on our 24-hour live stream, and she was just a big ball of energy. I love her. She's incredible. But I've never really done like a long sit down interview. Another one is Hal Cranmer. I've talked about this before on my channel. Adam and I are really hoping and praying that we'll be able to film him for our series. Hal Cranmer is the gentleman that he's running these long-term care facilities,
Oh
and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
he's changed the menu to proper human diet, and he's actually these are facilities that people go to sadly to die. This is their last move. They go there and that's it. Not for the people that Hal Cranmer is feeding a proper human diet. Those people are actually going home. It's crazy. It's like it's amazing. We're really hoping to get in touch with him. I'd love to have him on my YouTube channel, but I don't really care about that as much as getting him in the documentary series because I think everybody can relate to aging and having a mother or a grandmother or a grandfather and thinking about their health and seeing them suffer and things like that. It's just a beautiful thing what that guy's doing. So I'd love to have him on. And then who had you on that's totally surprised you? There's been quite a few surprises. Well, I guess the first one, the big one, would be Bill in Alaska. That whole story, a lot of people don't know it. It goes back so far, but the whole story with Bill was crazy. Um, he had sent me a long text, and I responded to the text, and then he never answered. And his text really touched me because he was talking about depression, and I'm like, this guy's been through just hell. And I ended up doing a whole video. Attention, Bill, not in Alaska. I didn't have a picture of him or anything, but I did a whole video and a thumbnail. And the thumbnail was like 700-pound Bill, not attention. And he ended up seeing that video. And that's how we ended up connecting. And he just totally surprised me because the fact that he was just such a genuine, sweet, nice guy, the fact that he stuck to carnivore has also frankly surprised me. Not that I doubted him, it's just that the odds of connecting with someone like that and then going out and filming them and then also them being one of the nicest, sweetest people in the world and then also sticking to carnivore and then also succeeding and finding healing is just still surprises me and shocks me to this day. Like, it's so improbable that all of that would have worked out. Like one of those things could have failed, and the whole thing could have been a whole failure. But it all just worked out, and now he's got a huge YouTube channel, and there's literally people going on Bill's channel like, Bill, you saved my life. Like if you can do this in Alaska at 700 pounds where meat is so expensive, why can't I do it here in little Wisconsin? Like there's so many people finding inspiration from Bill. So that's definitely one that surprised me. The other one I'll say quick too is Lash. I think Lash is in the chat here. Uh, there's not. I've interviewed hundreds of people at this point, and there's not many that have suffered more in their life than Lash has with his psoriasis and depression. Like his story is just, it's heartbreaking and uplifting and inspiring at the same time because he pulled himself out of that and come out the other end healthy and thriving and inspiring people. His story really surprised me. I remember when he told me, like, Carrie, I would take the sheet off after sleeping all night, and the sheet would be stuck to my legs from the blood on it from the psoriasis. Waking up to that and suffering from that, and, along with horrible depression for like decades. It's like it's the definition of hell. It's like being a prisoner or something. What Lash went through, that was one that really surprised me and also inspired me at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm fortunate enough to get actually Lash is going to be my next guest next week. So,
Nice.
um, you know, so I've been pretty fortunate for with all this, and I'm going to say it again because it is my channel, and you know, I thrive on having people on and telling their stories. So, to answer the question on who would I want to have as a guest, well, I don't think there's really anybody I would not want to have as a guest. Because there's so many people out there, Kelly Hogan, everybody, not just and not just the big wigs. I would one of my favorite people that I had on was Helen
Yeah.
and Lexi.
Yeah.
And I really don't. I love having Lewis and Aaron on, but I don't consider them to really be small potatoes. I mean if I say anything, they're medium potatoes because if you're going to go by subscription count and stuff like that. But if I'm going to go by inspiration, stuff like that, I would have to say all four. Everybody is top notch.
Right.
Um, you know,
Real quick too, Helen was another one that shocked and surprised me. That energy, I was not expecting that because Helen was on our membership site early on, and she was suffering and crying and sad and quiet. And then she came on and she's just like this overwhelming ball of energy. That was really surprising and awesome. But to your point, like I think at this point, Thomas, it's been like hundreds of carnivores I've talked to between the YouTube channel and the documentary. And it's amazing like having like Dr. Chafee or someone like that on the channel. It's just,
yeah.
it's like I don't deserve to even be talking to these people. It's a huge blessing. But with that said, some of the most incredible stories are just ones you would never expect. It's really, that's what the powerful thing is someone sharing their truth and their story. And the other beautiful thing with it is too is you'll see after you do this for a while, there is this overwhelming need for these people that are like, I just want my story and my truth to be
Right.
told and
Yeah,
out
and I
there
don't
to
think
the
it
world.
matters how big you are. That just resonates with everybody.
Yeah, yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, knock on wood. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but one of the people from SPG, Melanie, she's pretty new to the group. Like she's not new to the group, but she's new to the inner team.
Yeah,
And she's actually going to try talking to Dr. Wiederman, so I might be able to get Dr. Wiederman on my show.
nice.
So that's going to be pretty cool. But
Just
yeah,
real quick, I just want to say if you get her on, I love her because she's one of the few doctors. All the doctors are great, but she really talks about addiction more than any other doctor that I've
mhm.
talked to. And I really believe that's one of the biggest issues for so many people. They don't realize they're addicted, they don't admit they're addicted, and then they end up suffering because they yo-yo diet for years and years. And you don't find that healing if you continue to yo-yo. You're not going to. It's not about the weight loss, but if you continue to yo-yo, you're not going to heal your body if you keep going back to those things. So the addiction
And
is a big part.
if you want some entertainment, on my birthday, I have Russ
Oh
from Peter
yes,
Cookout. He's going to actually be Russ Mitchell is going to be my guest for that right on September 20th. that particular day. So
Russ is. I'm gonna. I don't know if Russ is watching this or not, but I've just got to say the truth about Russ. Russ is one of the funniest dudes out there. Everybody knows that, but more importantly, that guy has a huge heart. He is
yeah,
just the biggest sweetheart. I'm not going to get into all the details of why, but he's a genuine dude. Big heart for sure.
and we just got joined in the chats. My terrific life. Um, she was actually on Dr. Kilt's about a month ago. Wonderful lady. Hello, Terry. Um, and Lash again. Just pretty much answering questions amongst each other. God, I don't think I've ever had this many people on, so thank you for that, Carrie. I appreciate
Oh,
that.
thank you for having me. I
Yeah.
appreciate being on here. Sandy
Um,
just said Helen is a firecracker. That's a good way to describe her for sure.
again, bottle it up,
Right?
Helen. Bottle it up. I mean, don't get rid of it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying bottle your energy so that you can sell it. Um, I'm sure you could. I'm sure you could find some other carnivore that's willing to help you sell it.
Right?
Yeah. Um, and then on the choice, but I definitely need more people. I have loads of people, but anybody that's interested, email me. My email's in my in my videos, and if you don't have it, then just let me know, and I'll give it to you next time. Obviously. Um, but I have Dave Mack coming on.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
So
so it's
just
it's
I got to talk about Dave for just 1 second. We interviewed him for the documentary because I'm excited that you're having him on, Thomas, because Dave he's the ultimate interviewer, right? Over 1,200 carnivores now. He's so good at doing that, and it's inspiring so many people. I absolutely love Dave. But besides all of that, Dave has an incredible story of his own that we don't get to often hear because he's
yeah.
normally talking about other people's stories. Um, we filmed him for the documentary, so I got to hear his story and his personal story. It's incredible. Like he had a stroke, like he was alcoholism, all these things. That's gonna be a good show for sure, Thomas.
I
That
mean,
guy's
I've heard bits and pieces of his story, but same thing with you. But like unless you sit somebody down, I don't know how many interviews you've done. Well, I guess you did Dave Mack interview and stuff like that. But it's kind of it. I think that's one of the things that's really fun with you and with and when Adam comes on with Adam's going to be on here on the 12th. So
nice.
so and then Dave Mack. I'm sort of turning the tides a little bit. Like I'm no longer the interviewee. I'm now the interviewer. And
Right?
you guys are telling your stories. So that's sort of exciting if you think about it. At least to me, it is.
Absolutely.
Because it's like, okay, we are all working together. And I mean, I know Dr. Kills mentioned one time that we should all tell our stories, and if anybody ever wants him to come on their channel, he'll be on there. I'm trying to get him to come on, but I really haven't had any response yet. But that doesn't mean this won't happen. I'm just,
Oh, he'll do it. He'll do
yeah,
it.
I know he. I asked Alia, and she's like, well, I'm too busy right now. I can't do it. And I'm like,
Oh,
well, how about Dr. Nelson and Dr. Kills?
so
You can send the word to them.
he Dr. Kiltz is arriving here in Montello on Thursday for the meetup. I'm gonna plant a little seed in his ear, Thomas. I'll be like, you
Oh,
got
that'd
to
be
get out.
great. That'd
Yeah, I
be great.
got you.
'Cause you gotta love Dr. Kills. And I love Dr. Nelson too. Dr. Nelson has helped me so much with the diabetes and everything. And yes, Peter, I know I'm your protege, so I know you've helped me too.
I didn't hear if you said this. Did you get to talk to Dr. Nelson on your channel yet? Like,
Not on my channel, no.
no.
I mean, has he ever been?
I bet you he'd come on for an interview too. He's another one that has just a crazy story.
Yeah.
His
Um,
story, he jokes around a lot, but his story is really touching. He became a
I don't
doctor
think I
because of
don't think Dr. Nelson's ever been um, on here. If he has, I have no idea. That type of thing. Um, I know Mitch came on for a couple minutes one time, um, and Bob. Semi-retired Bob.
Yeah.
He came on once, a
Nice.
little bit, but I would love to interview both of them. I mean, obviously. Um, I mean, oh my God, Mitch would have so many, because Mitch has not only the story of how he became carnivore, but he also has a story on him having the stroke.
Right.
And his recovery, like you said before, his recovery is remarkable.
Yeah.
To see how well he is doing so quickly. Like he says, "Oh, he's doing this still," but I Peter actually said in one of the chats, if you looked at your videos when you first started after the, you'll see a huge difference.
100%.
And I'm going to suggest that to Mitch, if he's listening right now, is do what Peter just said. Go back to your videos 4 months ago and look at them and see how well you're doing, because
You can I don't I
you,
can't even like if I just watch one of Mitch's videos now, you can't really even tell he had a stroke, but yeah,
no,
like
you
week
know,
1 or whatever, right when he first started doing videos again after. It's crazy. That's one of the things that's frustrating too because people should know about that as an option, and they won't. And of course, they'll blame it on carnivore. Oh, someone had a stroke. It's because they were doing carnivore, not the 70 years or whatever before whatever they were eating. And
yeah.
then we missed the whole message.
And
Is
just all the people, like I've had Rick Charger Mopar on here several times. Matter of fact, I interviewed my first live. I don't know if you saw it or not, but my very first live was with him and Aaron Booby Goats.
nice.
And it's kind of funny because there was a little bit of confusion there, because scheduling kind of made it where I had to bump them both together, both being interviewed at the same time. And and nothing against them, I love both of them. Okay, but when they were on, they hardly talked. It was just like this, like awkward silence.
Right.
And I kind of want them to go on and tell their stories. That was the whole. What's the purpose of an interview if you can't get some of the story out?
Right.
So we ended up making it like an open forum, and Kathy Dixon actually came um, on that, and then my niece Kelly Rose came on, and obviously she's not carnivore, but it was still a treat for me to see a family member
That's
that
cool.
in the chats. But we've had Lash has been on before. Papa Carnivore's been on quite a bit. Um, and this is not even the interviews. This is just doing the chewing the fat. Which I don't know if you know that or not, but that's the name of my channel, Chew the
Oh
Fat.
yeah.
Because I mean, what's prime rib is full of fat,
Oh
so
yeah. The
you
good
know,
stuff. The best part.
yeah. So it's like these like catchphrases kind of came right to me. But but I was able to. I mean, I'm still wanting Rick to be on my channel. Obviously, I think 41 years. How do you not have a good story with 41 years?
Right.
But and I love everybody. I love you guys. I love, like, I'm a Mitch Fit. I'm a booby goater. I'm a quack man. I'm a what is
You
Bill?
you need
What,
like you need like badges for each one.
what was that?
You need like badges for each one.
Yeah, I know. Well, I have your hat. Thanks
Right.
to you. Thank you for that. I have that, the one you gave me at the Boston meetup, and I got the Healing Humanity shirt on. Yeah.
Nice.
So I am all dressed up, and I do have stuff for Dr. Kiltz, and I have actually a Mitch Fitz shirt, and I just recently bought an Aaron Goats hoodie, so I
Nice.
have that. So I have different clothes. The only thing I don't have is stuff for SBG,
Ah.
because I look, and maybe I'm wrong, and I know Alyssa was here before, so I don't know if she's still here or not. If it's still the same, Bella needs to put out some merchandise. Yeah.
I'm just thinking now. I don't know if I've seen SPG merchandise.
I don't think she has shirts and hats and stuff like that. She
Oh
needs
yeah.
to get some merchandise.
Yeah, for sure. Like
You know?
stick of butter, something. Let's go.
Yeah, like anything. Like,
Bill Knott's got merchandise now even.
I know Aaron's got merchandise. Booby goats. I've been thinking about, like, actually seeing about putting some merchandise out there, but I'm just not sure how to start that and how much it would cost me to do it. Stuff like that. But I
It,
figure I have my riblet, you know. I could do like
yeah,
a riblet
chew the
shirt.
fat. It's pretty on YouTube. There's a thing that integrates. I'm happy to help you out if you want to look into it. But there's one. It's called Spread Shop, and if you can get the design put together, you just put it on there. It doesn't cost you anything out of your pocket. And then
Oh,
if people order the shirt, they handle the whole thing. Like you don't have to ship it out or you don't have to do anything. They take more because they do everything, but whatever you sell the shirt for, you get some of the money, and then the rest of it goes to the company because they ship it out and print it, and they do it all
right.
on
They're doing
demand.
all the work, so yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, I
Booby
mean,
Goats, Aaron Booby Goat shirt. You could come up with some funny shirts for that name for sure.
I know. Well, I mean, she right now. I don't know if you heard about her new persona, but she has Butter Woman.
What was it, Butter?
Butter Woman, where she like
Oh,
eats a stick of butter and then she becomes like this like superhero, you
nice.
know. And I thought it'd be funny. Like right now, it's just hard for me to figure, you know, like get my brain into it. But I thought it'd be really cool to do a cartoon version of her as Butter Woman, you
Right.
know, and then put it on a shirt. I thought that'd be really really cool, you know. And
It's
she has one of her kids dressed up in the same outfit as Butter Boy. Yeah,
that's awesome. I love it.
you know.
Bill has a couple. We helped him. Actually, my daughter Emma came up
I
with the
have one.
design.
Bill, I have a Bill shirt
You
too.
got that's right. I remember you seen it. Yeah. He doesn't really sell a ton of them. I don't think he promotes them that much, but the Daisy, his cat Daisy one, does better than the Bill one.
Yeah,
There's
Daisy's printing up more shirts than anything.
right. There's
Yeah.
one or two that's just the Daisy design, and I'm like, Bill, you got to get Daisy like its own Instagram account and separate it all out. I
Can you
was joking
imagine
with
that
him.
if there was a? I mean, you know what's sad? Okay, or funny, whatever you want to call it, is there are so many Instagram accounts that it's the animal, the pet that has the Instagram account.
Right.
You know, like have you ever seen that? Like you know, like Fifi the dog.
Right. I think Joe Rogan's dog has an Instagram account too, and it's got like millions of followers. So
This whole thing is like so. So I mean, I'm not. I want to keep this going, you know, as long as possible. But it is 2 hours and 32 minutes
nice.
to this live stream.
Yeah, I got to run in just a minute or two. I got another call coming up shortly, but
Yeah, because I am so grateful that you, even if you only stayed an hour, I would have been grateful. So, um,
I'm grateful for you having me on. I really appreciate it.
yeah, I mean, I don't know how anybody's going to surpass this. You know, Lash, you have a lot of work ahead of you for next year.
Lash will not. This isn't
Oh,
flattering,
Lash
Lash.
will knock it out of the park. You'll just,
His story is so powerful,
yeah,
so powerful.
yeah. And you know who else I have coming on too is our young friend Caleb.
Oh, nice. You got
Yeah,
some good stuff coming up. Caleb's incredible. Just it's so another one that's so important. Was 16 years old, just
I know.
killing it on carnivore, there to inspire his peers. That's one of the biggest questions I get, Thomas, because my daughters are doing carnivore. Is like, how can I get my kids doing it? I'm like, go ask Caleb. Caleb's doing it. He's he's really cool.
Can you imagine if they had a podcast like how you do your lives and stuff like that? Can you imagine if they had young person's podcast
It's
with
it.
like people like Emma, Caleb,
Yep.
and they all talked and did these lives where they invited like everybody, but mostly obviously inspiring, you know, the young people. You know,
Yes. Good minds think alike. Well, this wasn't even my idea. It was Emma's. I got to talk to her and encourage her again because this was like 2 weeks ago. She was talking about it. Emma has a whole bunch of carnivore friends that are her age. There were even triplets in Alaska that were doing carnivore, and they were boy triplets. Um, that's a whole other story. But she's got a whole bunch of young carnivore friends, and she was talking about doing what you just said, like not just an individual interview, but maybe doing a big roundtable of carnivore like teenagers. So I'm gonna remind you. Just reminded me.
yeah.
I'm gonna remind her like what happened to that idea, Emma, because that's brilliant. Like that'll help
Man,
so many people.
I'm gonna do a shout out for a young kid. I don't know what his real name is, but he's on Instagram. I don't think he has a YouTube channel, but I saw him on SPG once or twice. He's when I was doing like training, like to learn a little bit about making videos and stuff like that. From she had a master class training thing, so I was a part of that for a little bit. His Instagram thing is Carnivore Guy, Guy,
Okay.
and he sort of reminds you of a young Danny Russo from Karate Kid,
Oh, nice.
you know. But he's 16 years old, just like Caleb, and I think that he would be really good to do
Right.
that. Like he just has a lot of charisma, and I think he would be a really perfect person to do that. But because I think the panel thing is actually not a bad thing as long as everybody's able to you know to speak a little bit.
Yeah, that it's cool, and it's also the tricky part, trying to kind of moderate it so everyone
Yeah.
gets to say their
I mean,
piece.
I've expressed, and I'm I'm not doing this for any particular reason, but I have expressed that one of my, because like I find like everything like you being here is like a step up in my carnivore YouTube journey, and it just keeps on getting better from that. And my next one would be if I'm ever invited on any of the panels that you guys have, to be a guest, with you guys, because a sit amongst all you guys would be like, oh my God, that'd be like an honor.
Right.
But I'm not asking you to invite me. I'm just saying that that would be an honor.
Yeah. No, absolutely. We can do that sometime for sure.
Really quick, John Beatty Art is asking, what is your favorite steak to eat when you have one?
Ribeye. Sorry, it's generic, but I'll be more specific. And I made one last night for Lynn and Dave because they're visiting here. Reverse seared ribeye that's smoked on cherry smoke is my favorite. Smoked it low and slow, and then sear it is my absolute. It's like the best thing in the world.
Pretty specific, but
Right.
okay.
Right.
I would have to say I don't make it because I don't really they don't really have too many here. But because of Boston, I'd have to say now Picanha is probably my favorite.
Oh yeah.
You
That's a
know,
close
um,
second for me too.
but I unfortunately I'm on a I still am on a budget, and I if I can buy like five steaks for the same price as one steak, I'd rather do that. Um, so I would have to say like that's why I kind of do the London broil because London broil is not really that expensive here. You can get quite a bit of it. So I just add butter to give me the fat, or I just
There you
add.
go.
Right now it's funny. I actually was trying to buy beef tallow from your daughter's Emma's website. From her things, and she has a great big thing that you guys have, and I'm like, oh, I want to get that because I want it to last a little bit, and not that it will because it's tallow for God's sakes, but they were all out, so I really wanted to have some tallow, so I'm like, okay, what? So they had a suggestion. It wasn't off of Emma, but they had a suggestion for bison tallow.
Hmm.
So I actually got that, and it's been pretty good so far. But it's
Oh,
like
nice. Haven't tried
interesting,
that yet.
yeah. So I got that, and once it's I think like once it's half done, I'll get another thing of tallow because if I get it any later than if I wait until it's empty, I'm going to go a few days without tallow. And, it's
I'm
like
with
you
you
need that fat.
for sure.
So all right, well, I'm going to end it here, only because I guess you can't have too much of a good thing, but. So, if you don't mind, I'm just going to say my ending catchphrase and then we'll go from there. So, everybody, live, love, and heal. And for God's sakes, eat the meat.
Love it. Thank you so much for